going to call the meeting to order at 5:37, July 15th, 2025. Roll call. Kaylee?
Councilmember Grimm.
Here.
Councilmember Stafford. Here. Councilmember Richardson. Here. Councilmember Darms.
Here.
Councilmember Knight. Here. Councilmember Thompson.
Here.
Here. We're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. Thank you. Okay, number one, introduction and overview of interview process. Dale Arrington.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor and members of the council. Just want to take a moment to set the stage for everybody of what we're doing here. Late last spring, council considered how they would like to go about filling the position of city attorney because my esteemed colleague, Bill Reichman, decided to retire after more than 2 decades of service to this city. So on May 13th, the City Council, after considering a variety of different options, decided to move forward with a request for proposals so that we could look at a variety of law firms to fill his shoes. On June 26th, I want to say we've received 5 proposals from 5 different law firms. And following council's direction, they were sent to an evaluation committee for an overview to make sure all of the firms met the mandatory requirements and to give a recommendation to the city council. Last week, on July 8th, the city council considered all 5 of the applications, and they determined that they would like to interview 3 firms who they considered to be, all top drawer, and felt that they could not make a decision until they talked to each of the firms personally and got to know the people involved in the firms and have some dialogue with them. So tonight, you all are here to be interviewed, and the city council has asked that we conduct the interviews in a certain manner. They would like to interview each of the firms separately, with the other 2 being stepped out into an adjoining building. Michael Hall, who is sitting in the back of the room, will be your escort for the 2 firms that are going to walk over. And then we will notify him, and, he'll keep you company in the Development Services Conference Room. And then we'll switch. The interview process itself will start with the prime speaker for each law firm giving a 10 to 15-minute overview. And then we'll have 30 minutes for questions and hopefully dialogue between the council and the selected or the firm that is presenting in front of them. At the conclusion of all 3 interviews, then the council will deliberate and select who they would like to have as their city attorney. There are a variety of options that are available to council at this juncture. It's my hope, I don't know about theirs, but I'm sure that they will give me a ranked list of the order to proceed. And then from there, staff will enter into negotiations with the top-ranked firm and bring back a contract for council's consideration. So I think at the conclusion of it, everyone will be brought back into this room for their deliberation and discussions. That's the way we previously discussed how the meeting would go. So unless there's any questions from council members about that, then we can go ahead and start by interviewing in alpha order all of our law firms. So the first one up will be DSK Law. It will be followed by Fishback Dominic. And the last law firm that will be interviewed will be Vos. So I guess the representatives from Fishback Dominic and Vos Law Firm will need to stand up and get marched across the street. Thank you so much. Are you good with that, Ms. Marks?
Thank you.
Okay.
Good evening. You want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you. First and foremost, on behalf of DSK Law, myself, Deborah Mitchell, my partners who are in attendance with me tonight, Mr. Morganson and Mr. Manzares. We'd like to thank you, Mayor Marks, Assistant Mayor, Vice Mayor rather, Grims, Council Member, City Manager, Deputy Clerk, for allowing us to present to you this evening. It's a great opportunity, and we appreciate your time. Apologize for the mask. Hopefully that won't affect my communication. Started feeling a little under the weather this weekend, and I assumed everybody would prefer that I kept my germs to myself. So hopefully that won't get in the way of my presentation at all. If we go to the first slide, the first thing I'd like to do is just give you a little bit of background about DSK Law Firm. We are a full-service law firm. We started in 1976 in Orlando, Florida. We have grown since that time, and we have offices in Tampa, Melbourne, and Tallahassee. One of the things that I think is of critical importance, and that kind of sets us apart from some of the other well-qualified firms that you're considering this evening, is the fact that we have 55 attorneys, and we are a full-service law firm. And what that means to you, as both the council, city manager, mayor, vice mayor, is that you're going to have unlimited resources available to you. We're not limited to government, municipality, although we do have a thriving local government practice group combined between myself and the two alternates, Mr. Morganson and Mr. Manzares. We have over 50 years experience providing legal services to government municipalities in a broad array of areas. But we also have experience in labor and employment, contracts, transactional work, things that we can tap into. And we have 5 times as many attorneys as the other two law firms, which gives us a wealth of resources at our disposal to address the variety of issues that this city is going to have to deal with on a routine basis. I mean, a city is almost like a corporation, and on any given day, different issues may arise. And the fact that we're a full-service law firm with diverse practice groups will give us the ability to handle and address those issues in a timely and efficient manner. With that being said, I'd like to have Mr. Manzares, I guess, first, and Mr. Morgan. So just take a moment to introduce themselves.
Good evening, and as Deborah pointed out, my name is Dan Manzares, and we're very pleased to be here and address you tonight. Deborah mentioned our experience in local government. Just a little background about me. I am a former assistant county attorney for Seminole County. It was my first job right out of law school a long time ago. I love hearing the fact that Bill has been able to use the word retirement. God bless you. How do you do that? So we're very pleased for that. So, and then for the last over 35 years, we've been working with local governments. I currently serve as city attorney for the city of St. Cloud, and we'll be celebrating our finishing up our 28th year as the city attorney for St. Cloud next month. For 20 years, I was city attorney for the city of Claremont up in Lake County, and we worked in that capacity for those decades until December of last year. We also represent the Seminole County Code Enforcement Board. Years ago, and Mr. Morganson will point this out, but years ago I sat in that chair as a special magistrate, initial special magistrate for code enforcement here in Orange City. That was a while ago back then, but so we have a wealth of experience and our firm in handling it. I lead the practice group for local government. And Deborah will talk a little bit more about this, but our model in providing services for Orange City would be the team approach, and we would, myself and Jack and Deborah and others that are involved with it, would lead that team to provide any legal assistance that the city might need on any particular issue. I'll also point out, I don't think Deborah mentioned it, but we also recently became the city attorney for the city of Sanford. Our partner, Lindsay Green, is the dedicated city attorney for Sanford. She was the assistant city attorney with me in St. Cloud for years and has valuable experience doing that. So that's generally about me, and any more questions come up, I'll be happy to answer, and I'll just turn it over to Jack.
Good evening, council members. Jack Morrison. Dan has essentially encapsulated my practice experience with local government representation. I go back to the St. Cloud inception in 1997. I'm the current magistrate for the city of Orange City. I've been serving in that capacity, I believe, since 2008. And looking at orders from 2 weeks ago, I think that in my database it goes back to that time. So, but I have a considerable experience in terms of providing city attorney assistance to the city of St. Cloud and Orange County, Seminole County, and so forth, along with working with the city of Orange City, previously with Belle Isle, et cetera. So, as Dan mentioned, as Deborah mentions and will mention, you know, our collective collaborative approach to support her in that capacity, I think, in the firm's overall resources and experience, I think lends itself to be a great fit for your consideration. It's nice to see you all this evening. Thank you so much.
Okay. With that being said, I think it's important, everybody wants to know and like the people they work with. And me, if we're given the opportunity to provide citywide legal services for the city of Orange City, I'd like to just give you an opportunity to know who I am as a person. I made a little picture board. If we go to the next slide, keep going. This is the personal side of myself. I served in the United States military. I'm proud of my military service. I was in the Army. I am one of 6 children, grew up in Massachusetts, Irish Catholic family. Family is everything to me. That's why you see pictures of my family up there. During my free time, I like to run. That's my addiction. I've done a number of marathons, a couple triathlons. I do own property here in Volusia County, out by Daytona Beach. I spend my weekends fishing, surfing. I'm happiest when I'm out by the water. So that's what I do when I'm not at work. Then going back to the next slide, because I was in the military, actually, sorry, there's one slide before this, and I know Dan touched on this briefly. I'm sorry, back to the one you were on. We're just bouncing around here, right there. Okay. Firm government entity clients, past and current. As you'll see, there's a long list of services we have provided to local municipalities as a firm over a number of years. Next slide, please. Okay, as you know from our submittal, and I'm not going to go over my individual legal experience, it's in our proposal that we submitted to you, but we talk about the DSK advantage in our proposal. And what does that mean? And because I'm prior military, I could not go by an opportunity to use an acronym. So it's available, diligent, versatile, articulate, networking, team approach, attentive, growth, and excellence. Next slide, please. What does that mean? This one I think is hugely important because unlike some of the other attorneys who are bidding for the city attorney position, I don't act as city attorney for any other municipality. If I'm given this opportunity, I'm going to be here. I'm going to be available 24/7 by phone for any issues that may come up for council members, the city manager, and staff. Additionally, I will maintain set office hours at least 3 days a week with an open door policy. So I am here and I am available to anyone who has any issues or concerns that they may need to address, and I can be there to provide immediate and proper legal counsel. In addition to attending all the required meetings as set forth in the proposal, I'd make myself available for any other meetings upon request. And I'd also like to sit in with meetings with the city manager and staff as well as department heads, because I think that gives us the best opportunity of identifying issues and being fully prepared for the other meetings. Timely respond to any phone calls and emails. I know that's one thing that people get really annoyed about, is not having timely communication, and I commit to doing that. but being here and doing that, not creating obstacles, so that we are able to just assist you in facilitating the work, the very important work that you all need to get done on a routine basis. Next slide, please. Diligent. Diligently address the city's legal needs, constantly ensure all deadlines are met, be prepared for all meetings, and remain fully advised and up to date on all agenda items. Next slide, please. Versatile, I think I referenced this at the beginning. We come with a broad array of experience. Me, myself, I represented government municipalities, and I did a lot of work with the Sheriff's Self-Insurance Fund, defending law enforcement officers who had been charged with mostly 42 USC Section 1983 claims for violations of civil rights. In doing that, I was familiar with how that works in federal court, as also qualified immunity, how that applies. Also, we've served as counsel for the city of Winter Park, and we did a lot of tort defense, so I understand 768.28, statutory notice provisions that have to be met before filing suit, things of that nature. As a former litigator, I understand risks. I can do proper risk analysis and try to eliminate some of those risks. My corporate experience gave me background in budgeting, finances, critical thinking, and problem solving. And of course, my Army, my background in the Army taught me leadership and mission accomplishment. Next slide, please. Articulate. I promise to communicate clearly, directly. I promise to voice any concerns that I may have. I'll be respectful of others and their time. In doing that, I will make sure that I'm prepared, on topic, and brief as possible, but at the same time ensuring that all concerns are properly addressed and all issues are fully vetted. Next slide, please. Networking. Exchange information and resources. I think it would be important to build and maintain relationships with all of the council members, the city manager, city staff, mayor, vice mayor. Also, I think it's important, if I'm given this position, to have community outreach, to get involved with the local chambers and different civic organizations, to have a presence in the community. Team approach, I think we discussed that. You're not just gonna have myself, you're gonna have the two alternates, Mr. Morganson and Mr. Mantzaris, and they bring a wealth of experience and support to me in this role that I'll be relying on, as well as a full-service law firm with a broad array of practice areas at their disposal. Attentive. I promise to actively listen. I promise to be present. Sometimes you're there, but you might not be present. So not just physically present, but mentally and emotionally present for all meetings, all interactions. I'll provide timely feedback, follow up when necessary, and pay attention to and remember important details. Next slide, please. This struck me. Welcome to the city of Orange City, your homepage or your website, because it says a historic city with turn-of-the-century charm, complete with services you expect from a larger urban area. I think one of the things, in looking at your strategic plans, obviously you're looking at issues with fully manning your police force. There's other issues and concerns relating to community outreach and development. But one of the biggest challenges that I think you're going to have is growth, and I address that on the next slide. Excuse me for a second. Like many areas through Central Florida, I think Orange City is going to experience exponential growth in the coming years. And you have to do that in a reasonable, measured, and sustainable way. I want to be part of that growth. I'm excited for the future of Orange City, and it would be an honor to be able to guide you through that process by providing legal counsel where necessary to help that ensure all those objectives are met. I know you as council members have challenges because you have people that are resistant to growth, while at the same time you see the opportunities that it presents. So it would be a pleasure to assist as this community continues to grow, develop, and thrive, at the same time maintaining it so that it's a place that people want to work, live, and visit. Speaking of which, I did notice you do have the Save the Manatee Run coming up in November, so I'm excited to attend that. Lastly, and perhaps just as important as being available, is excellence. You know, we will be committed to providing you the highest caliber of quality legal services, myself, my team, and it would be an honor to do that. Next slide, please. Made it all the way through the ACT room in less than 15 minutes. This one's critically important too. We offered two different approaches to providing these services, and I think the flat fee approach is the best approach. I say that because what it allows you guys to do is fully budget. It won't act as an obstacle cost in getting us involved early on in the process. Historically, we find that sometimes people wait, they don't want to get counsel involved, they're thinking about the cost, the budget. Well, if we bring in counsel for every issue, what is that going to do to what we've budgeted for our legal services for the year? By having a flat fee, it allows you to budget, but more importantly, it stops you from hesitating from bringing us in early in the process where some potential bad outcomes can be avoided if addressed early on. So we think the flat fee proposal really works because it takes away any hesitation there may be to consult with and bring in legal counsel early on. Okay, with that being said, last slide is we open it up to you for any questioning you may have for me and my colleagues. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you. Council, anybody?
Thank you for your service, first of all. Appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Nice to meet
It
all
was
of
an
you.
honor.
Thank you so much. So with your last point being, we're talking about money, obviously, $25,000 a month, $300,000 a year. So the flat fee rate schedule does not include litigation services, correct?
That is correct. If it was a lawsuit and there was a case that was being litigated, that would be a separate.
Okay. So going along with that question, which may incentivize litigation outcomes, will you consider an alternate fee schedule?
One more time.
So the question was, the flat rate fee schedule does not include litigation services which may incentivize litigation outcomes, correct?
Correct.
Yes, so would you consider an alternate fee schedule? Don't know what that looks like, but just,
Yes, we would definitely be willing to consider anything that the board would propose.
okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Dana?
Can you describe how the firm will handle any conflict of interest that may arise in the future?
How we would handle any conflict of interest that may arise in the future? Well, first, we would check for any conflicts of interest as litigation issues arise. If we did have a conflict of interest, obviously, we would not be able to, because of our professional responsibility and our ethical concerns, we wouldn't be able to handle it. I don't think because we're a large firm that necessarily means we're going to have, and I think that might be the reason you're asking that question, as a larger firm, are we going to have more conflicts of interest? Obviously, that's something we're keenly aware of. If a conflict arises, we would assist in ensuring that we could find competent legal counsel that could handle the issue.
If I could, real quick on that. So when we started doing work for local governments and we created this model with the flat fee, one of the things we looked at was conflicts. So you will notice, based on the experience that we've heard, maybe you didn't notice it, but we only represent one city in each county. We know that representing different cities in different counties could lead to conflicts, right? Because cities sometimes they're negotiating, sometimes they're negotiating with the counties, there are different things. So you'll notice that currently our firm represents the city of St. Cloud, which is Osceola County, city of Sanford, and Seminole County. We represented the city of Claremont for 20 years in Lake County. And so that was part of our approach as a firm to focus with Ms. Mitchell to basically be able to address that so that we could avoid those potential conflicts. Because we didn't see how one firm could represent multiple cities in the same county when their issues sometimes are very much in competition.
So that being said, you guys currently provide special magistrate services, which you wouldn't be able to do if you took us on as a city, so how would that transition out?
Well, what we would think, and
I
Mr.
can
Morgan.
speak to that. Well, certainly we would coordinate to allow the city to find a replacement. Should our firm be so fortunate as to be awarded the position, then we would certainly coordinate whatever would be necessary with my regard to my position in.
Can you speak into the
I'm sorry.
microphone?
Yes, I apologize if you couldn't hear me. Just that I would coordinate with, to assist the city in finding replacement for magistrate work in Orange City, of course, naturally, immediately, and liaise in such a way that it would be done seamlessly.
Thank you.
Yes, of course.
You also
Madam-
are more than welcome to utilize this table as well. It does have a mic on it, so if you wanted to, instead of going back and forth to the podium, it's completely up to
Yeah, I
you.
just want to,
Thank you very
It
much.
might make it easier.
I just wanted to let, we're streaming this, so that's why we need the microphones on you so that the public
Yeah,
can
my
see it.
apologies.
Oh, absolutely.
Councilwoman Stafford?
Yes, the city has existing contracts for insurance and labor dispute, including cyber insurance. Describe how the firm would engage with these existing contracts.
Yes, we would ensure that if there's insurance available for any matter, that the insurer is timely notified of any issues that may arise so that we can order, demand on behalf of the city that they either provide a defense or indemnification where appropriate under the contracts.
And one of the things that we do on a regular basis is typically when a city has defense counsel that works on insurance matters or labor related, we would work with that counsel with regard to this. So we serve as basically an extra set of eyes and ears to work with counsel. We have very good relationships with the attorneys that do this kind of work and involved with it. And as Deborah pointed out, one of our partners is an expert in labor and employment law. So we rely heavily on her to work on a daily basis with those outside counsel that our clients are utilizing on a regular basis for those matters.
And I apologize, I misunderstood your question. I probably wasn't that clear in my response to Councilmember Stafford.
Oh, no problem, because I was going to say, well, it wasn't clear. but
I'm
you-
sorry.
You
who-
did
It wasn't
answer.
your fault, it was.
Who do you guys use as your carrier? Who's your insurance to?
We go through I'm sorry, we go through PRM,
Okay.
and they have a variety of attorneys that
Yeah,
we
you
work
with the
with.
Roper Law Firm and those
Absolutely,
guys. Yeah, we
Roper
work with-
and Roper,
They insure.
McDonald, Hopkins,
Hopkins and
and
those
et cetera for our cyber.
Yes.
Just went through a big thing with them.
We, I just lived the cyber event in St. Cloud for the last year, so we've been with that group too. So, yeah, we work very well with those lawyers on a regular basis.
Jeff Mandel is our labor
we know Jack,
attorney.
yeah.
Jeff.
Yeah.
And then we have a special counsel that does all of our assessment work, and she is in Tallahassee. Last name, I'm going to mispronounce it. It's not Espinoza. It's Encinosa.
Yeah, she's with Neighbors Giblin. Yeah, okay, so, yeah.
And they've been doing that work and have it down for 20-some odd years.
Great firm.
So,
Yeah, great firm.
absolutely. So, just want to know how you would accommodate them, or if you would be booting them out. So,
No,
Absolutely not.
no. We're very good at when the city's had success, helping to support the continued success. We're not going to here to upset the apple cart.
Yeah.
Councilwoman Richardson?
Who will be attending the various meetings for which the city attorney presence is often required, such as the planning commission or code enforcement meetings?
Councilmember Richardson, that would be me as the designated city attorney. Obviously, if there was a conflict that arose, then obviously I have two capable alternates that would be willing to sit in, but on a routine basis, it would be myself.
It'll be, okay.
And we work that as a team approach. By way of example, I mentioned that I've served as a city attorney for the city of St. Cloud, and I go to all the council meetings. However, Mr. Morganson is general counsel to the Planning and Zoning Commission and the Board of Adjustment for that city. So he participates and attends those meetings basically on a monthly basis.
Regular basis, yes,
to
absolutely.
that.
Thank you.
Okay. Councilwoman Knight?
If for some reason you weren't able to attend and one of you had to attend, What is your communication style within the firm as far as keeping each other up to date on what's going on in the city?
We have a superb communication. Even though we're a large firm, we are closely knit. We communicate effectively, efficiently via email. We have monthly partner meetings. If there was a foreseeable event where I wouldn't be available, I'd ensure that they had the agenda, brief them on all issues, so that when they showed up, they would be just as prepared for that meeting as if I was handling it myself, to ensure that the city's needs are met. And there's just not a body, and not plug and play, we'll just throw a body in there, but they will be thoroughly prepared and equipped to address any legal issues that come up during those meetings, and fully advised of any agended items.
And not to be too detailed, but we have a shared calendaring system, legal assistance within our operation, so everyone's well aware of each other's calendar schedules, and can, even if there are unforeseen matters that arise, we're pretty flexible with regard to addressing those on a very short notice basis. So.
And if I could just follow up with that, because I think that's a very good question that goes, letting you a little behind the curtain. In our office, every day, a regular routine is somebody who's working with one of our government clients has a question and an issue. And there's our practice group, and they'll essentially typically send around an email, make phone calls, and say, hey, have you guys ever heard of this? And because of our years of experience, we're pretty comfortable that one of us has been involved with the issue to begin with already, and so we know it. That's a daily event in our office for our clients.
Fran, you got anything?
In relation to the Planning Code Commission, what would be the depth and experience in state and local land use and planning codes?
Collectively, it's immense. For me, myself, I have done most of that on the other side. I have assisted with the city of Claremont in a number of PUD applications that were put in for planned unit development. I've assisted in representing the city of Claremont when there's variance requests for certain development projects that are trying to be proposed. I'm familiar with density restrictions. I've worked with land planning before, usually on behalf of a client as opposed to a governmental entity. But I think knowing one side, you have to know how to go to the municipal code and look at all the regulations and codes to determine what can and can't be done, when a special exception is needed, and the likelihood that it may or may not be granted by the council members. So I do have experience, but more importantly, it's not just my experience you're getting, it's my ability to go to Jack or to go to, Mr. Morganson or Mr. Manzares and say, hey, this issue is before the board. Have you addressed it before? This is what the regulation says. How do you interpret that? And also lean on the resources I have within my firm and the expertise of others, and not just what I personally bring to the table.
Right, and our practice group keeps up with changes to the law. As you guys all know, unfortunately, every time those bunch of those women and men get together in Tallahassee, strange things come out, and we're constantly dealing with that, right? So we keep up with that. We attend seminars, we participate in that, and we deal with that, and then to make sure we're up to date on the law at all times.
And I've had
Big book like Mr. Rice.
Yeah, we do. But he's been doing it so long, it's all in his head.
Well, you kind of answered. I was going to say, are you prepared for all the preemptions that are coming in from the state, or all the new things that may come about that are going to be challenging for all local cities?
Yeah, we are working on that on a regular basis. In fact, I'm attending the Municipal Attorneys Association meeting. I don't know if, Bill, if you're going next week.
This will be the first one I haven't gone to in about 29 years.
You'll see that. And as he'll tell you, it's a great event to basically listen to some people that speak and talk about all the, and they do an update every year, and they go over this stuff, right? And so most of the municipal attorneys who we consider ourselves to be, we're our municipal attorneys. We ride for municipal brands. We don't do a lot of work for counties. We get very frustrated when we hear what Tallahassee does, especially as it attacks home rule, especially how it eliminates your decision-making process on things you know you should be the ones making the decision on, but the legislature has told you, we're sorry, we're not going to let you make decisions on these things. And we keep up to date of that as much as possible, and then we figure out how we can maneuver through them in the best interest of our clients.
And, we have a fairly new council here, so one of my challenges coming in as mayor was Mr. Reichman really helped me to transition into the mayor spot. And when he's not here, I just feel lost. So hard shoes to fill. But, you know, it's that was one of my things is sometimes we need guidance up here, all of us. And we need that support to make sure we do the right things. And, you know, so I just wanted to ask you how you feel about that.
And while you were trying to run the meeting too, right? And give everybody an opportunity to speak,
Correct.
to deal with that, and then make a decision. It's a tough job.
Right.
Very tough job, and it would be an honor to support you in your role and to provide whatever legal guidance we can. We're committed to staying on top of new laws that come out, as Mr. Manzares alluded to. There's legislative updates that come out on a routine basis. I think sometimes if you've done work on the other side, like I've done a number of Burt Harris claims, which is when the government takes an action that somebody claims is an inordinate burden on property. And having done that on the other side, you realize, well, okay, if we make this change to this code, how is that going to impact the property owners, and is it going to cause any liability to litigation if those actions are taken? So I think having both sides of the perspective can be beneficial. And I think, as I said from the outset, availability, being here committed to, you know, 9 to 5, at least 3 days a week, where I'm constantly available with an open door policy.
And that's real important.
Absolutely.
I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've called Bill and he's outside feeding the birds or whatever you're doing, but he always takes our call, and that's important because what we may think is emergency may not be an emergency, but like to be ahead of it, right? So it doesn't become an emergency. So.
Sometimes those birds are not in my front yard. They might be in the golf course too. So
See, he didn't. Any other questions?
Yes. I'd like to ask you on your $25,000 a month flat fee, on that fee, would you be willing to, if we came and said we need a breakdown of it on a regular basis so that we can pass it on to, like, we have a customer and he's causing us to call you guys to do some research on some things that he wants to have done. Okay, and say, for example, it costs us an additional $10,000, even though your flat fee was $25,000. And I'm just using figures. Would you be willing to send on a monthly basis so we can pass that on down to the customers so that they would be responsible for paying what additional fees that we encountered?
Absolutely. We do a lot of work on a flat fee basis where we do what we refer to as shadow billing, which means, and we do it internally too, because it allows us to see where our time's being spent, how much of our staff and attorney resources are being designated to a project, because at the end of the day, we're all businesses and we need to keep a tap on that. So that's something we've routinely done. We think it benefits the client. Let's say, for instance, there's an issue that comes up and you have the right to recover attorney's fees and costs as a prevailing party in the litigation. If we're not tracking the time that's spent on that issue, it would be very hard later to go back and try to recreate that. So there's a number of reasons that is beneficial to shadow bill time so that you get an accurate idea of, one, what you're paying for, because you're paying a lot of money for legal services, and I'm sure you want to see that value reflected in the amount of time and the resources that are going into providing those services. So that would not be an issue at all, Councilmember Stafford, and it's something that we routinely do when the clients request it.
Okay, any other questions before we wrap this up?
if you don't mind, I know that
Please do.
I'm not going to be directly involved, but I did want to make a couple observations and comments and some follow-up questions as well. Just following up on the last question, one of the peculiarities, if not totally unique towards the city, but Mr. Morganson, you're probably aware there's times when our code enforcement liens, someone wants to come in and pay them off, and so there'll be a negotiated amount. Those negotiated amounts are usually the city wants to recover all their expenses, and those expenses can include attorney's fees as well. So it's very important. Our office has been billing the city on an hourly basis, and so it's very easy. They can go back and look at our monthly bills. The other thing that City of Orange City has is that in our land development code, we have provisions that certain developments and developers and applicants are required to contribute towards the expenses that the city incurs. I don't think that's unique to the City of Orange City, but that's where that question is very important. And over the course of a year, it can make a lot of difference for the amount of money that the city of Orange City can recover through development services. It can really help the taxpayers to alleviate some of the expense associated with those services. The last question I had, more of an observation. This does not just apply to the DSK law firm, but also to the two others. And there's been a discussion this evening, Mrs. Mitchell, where you indicate that you're going to be able to provide a lot of time for the city of Orange City. And I will tell you, I think that looking at your CV, that it provides a double-edged sword. And here's what I mean by that. Looking ahead to the discussions we're going to have with the other two law firms, they represent a lot of cities. And the folks that are designated as the lead attorneys for those two other firms represent a lot of cities. So one of the inquiries that I'm going to make of those folks is there's only so many hours in the day, and there's so many evenings that you can give when you represent 4 or 5 other cities, because I've been there, as we all have. Ms. Mitchell, to your double-edged sword, I've looked at your CV, and you have extensive experience in litigation. I had some before I became the city attorney for the city of Orange City. I find that to be very valuable, because that way you can be very proactive and preventive when trying to avoid litigation, which is incredibly expensive for a local government. With that said, I did not see that you have any actual experience, and correct me if I'm wrong, as sitting in this seat as the lead city attorney, and as was just mentioned, there's a lot of issues, and a lot of them are procedural, that come up during a meeting with quasi-judicial, council rules, folks getting up, yelling and screaming and being nasty. And this is where the mayor and the council really rely upon the parliamentarian, and that's me, and that will potentially be you. So I think it will be helpful for this council to understand your current experience sitting in this chair, and if you don't have any, how you plan to deal with getting up to speed so you can deal with that hitting when your feet hit the ground in this chair.
That is a very fair question. I'm glad you asked it, because I don't have any experience sitting in your chair. I've sat through many meetings. I've gone to these board meetings. I know how sometimes they can go a little far into the left once you have somebody come up, or if it's a highly contested issue, right? Like when you have these amendments for anything that's politically charged, you're going to get people here. And I understand you have to maintain a certain level of decorum. You have to follow the procedures that are in place to ensure that those things stay on track in the meeting and if the agenda is adhered to and things get accomplished. To hit the ground running, I will be fully aware of all the charters, the codes, how the meetings are conducted, what I can rely on to assist the mayor, council members, ensuring that the meetings are held in accordance with those, and that the people who are here to participate can be heard, but within the confines that are set forth and that are there, and enforce those. That one thing, doing a lot of litigation, you're not afraid of conflict, but you know how to do it in a professional and reasoned manner to ensure that things get accomplished.
Thank you. And so 2 follow-ups to that, if I could, and I think you're right, Bill, we've all been in the position where we've been spread too thin because we've been sitting in that chair for multiple cities. That's why our firm has presented this with you. I mean, I could come here in front of you and sit here and say, and bring my 30 years experience and say, I'm going to be your city attorney, but that wouldn't be fair to you, and that wouldn't be fair to the services we provide, which is why we got somebody like Deborah. And I think what Deborah didn't mention is, because she did work on many of this stuff for me, one of the important roles that the city attorney always has is during those meetings that are contested is to make sure the meeting goes well so that whatever the decision of the city council is, that can be supported if it's appealed. And she has handled those appeals, and as part of those appeals, the procedural issue that happens in these very chambers,
Yes.
when it goes up for the courts to look at, is vitally important to deal with that. So she has seen it on the back end about this is how you have a bad record that leads to a bad result, or you have a good record that because we've been able to manage the public meeting when all those have happened.
And that's primarily important for the quasi-judicial matters.
Exactly.
Just for record purposes, 20 minutes have lapsed during Mr. Reichman's question, so I did restart the timer for an additional 10 minutes, just so everybody was aware.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Arrington, you got anything? No?
I think Mr. Raj.
Okay. Yeah, it was a good question. Anybody else from the council?
Just real quick, I know that we've already asked the question regarding your consideration of an alternate fee schedule. Exactly how flexible are you as far as doing that?
Well, I think we put in our bid too an alternate hourly arrangement as opposed to the flat fee. If there was a hybrid type of proposal that the council wanted to make, certainly would consider that. But obviously, I can't commit to anything that I don't know that isn't before me,
Right.
for the obvious reasons, but we'd be willing to consider alternate fee schedules,
The reason
whether
I,
it's
the reason,
hybrid or straight hourly.
yeah, the reason I asked is because for bonds and other litigation, there was a minimum fee of 2,000 that I read in the proposal.
I don't think so.
No, we didn't put a,
No,
we didn't put
do
it,
municipal bond.
I don't think we bid anything to do municipal bond work. So, because we rely on, and all of our clients, we relied on outside counsel like the neighbors firm and others to do the bond work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we wouldn't have done that, so we didn't do it. But I will tell you, our firm's history has been to be ultimately fair to our clients. And there is the relationship of helping them out, being responsive to them, and there's the financial relationship. So we always want to work to make sure that our clients feel that they're getting a very good value for our services. We think we're a great law firm. We think our services are valuable, but we recognize that you have to see the same thing, otherwise we're not going to have a good professional relationship.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's been great. We enjoyed it.
Thank you, folks.
Ms. Marks, Vice Mayor Grimm, council
Thank you, ma'am.
members.
Thank you.
Congratulations on your retirement.
Thank you,
sir.
ma'am.
All jealous.
Mayor, Council, before we call on the next, if I could just share a couple observations
Yes.
based upon what we just heard. We're still in a public meeting, this is being taped, so, but I did want to share to the question that was raised, the point that was raised as far as fees, because that's very important for your decision. Their proposal was that it would be a monthly flat fee of $25,000 per month, or $300. I believe in our last city council meeting, you asked Ms. Arrington what our firm's fees were. Less than that, but whether or not you're going to be able to find a law firm amongst these three that are going to be equivalent to what you're paying right now.
Because yours was hourly, right?
I'm flat hourly, $150 an hour. Their alternative was $250 an hour. Just want to make sure you understand, just so we've got apples and apples. And when the apples are oranges, then you can understand when we're dealing with different kinds of fruit. So, because it gets confusing when you have three different proposals, and within each of the three proposals, there are alternatives. It starts to get confusing. But also procedurally, even though it's how much you're going to pay for your attorneys is a factor in your decision. If you make a selection this evening, tonight will not be involved where you'll have to decide the amount that you're going to pay them. You're going to direct your city staff to go back and try to negotiate an arrangement with your selected law firm, and then bring that back. And so there is a little bit of extra wiggle room for us for the city to try to make sure that the amount that the taxpayers pay is the best arrangement we can negotiate.
Well, and I think that it was mentioned from Ms. Arrington that, we had one citizen that's racking up some attorney fees right now.
No.
So does that,
Oh, so.
and I'm just saying in general, could that come from people coming in from the citizens, and then, it goes fast, is what I'm trying to say.
So what Ms. Stafford was talking about was the citizen coming in, it's our land development clients.
Right.
Because we do take in an escrow from them, we
Right.
hold it in deposit, and then we charge back
Right.
how much it costs, how much time Bill spends on a plat review, so.
I'm just
some
talking about
of
other
those-
instances, though, where they come in and you have to investigate or, do your
Those
thing.
I do not charge back.
Okay.
What you and I were talking about was one of our citizens causing me to hire a specialty attorney
Right.
through our
Oh, a
insurance
specialty,
firm,
okay.
which dealt with a cybersecurity matter.
I see.
And what I had racked up as a result of that.
Yeah.
So that was, every once in a while, and that's why that question is important to me. I would not want to terminate our 25-year relationship with neighbors in Giblin and Tallahassee.
So one quick question. So
Keep some of those on.
when you say you had to hire a specialty attorney, it was not from his firm?
No, this was from our insurance
Insurance
firm,
attorneys, okay.
where
Okay.
we were being threatened with litigation over something that was dealt with an arcane matter of the law. His firm was absolutely involved in it,
Yeah.
but, leaks in the internet world have a nuanced
Sure.
national set of attorneys that deal with those. So Bill's firm was absolutely involved in it, but they were not the lead in handling a section of it.
Go
One
on.
more quick comment, if I could, Mayor, I apologize. I do not consider Ms. Mitchell's lack of experience to be disqualifying.
Right,
It's a factor.
yes.
But I did want to bring that to raise that for her to address, but also to bring it to your attention.
I thought it was good.
For the next two that we're going to talk about, because their lead candidates, before they get in here, are very qualified. But I'm curious you need to have people available.
Dawn, you want to say
So.
something?
Yes, I did, because I believe, Dale, that you mentioned, or it could have been Mr. Reichman or both, that we will still keep the specialty attorneys that we have. I think labor attorneys and those of the like, we will still have them regardless of the attorney's firm that we select for the city, right?
That's something that will need to be negotiated in the contract, particularly if we go with an all-inclusive high rate per month as to what exact work they are doing. However,
That's what I was
I've
trying
got
to say.
to tell you, I would be adverse to switching out my labor attorneys in mid-negotiation.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
Sure.
these are things we would have to sit down and work through with whoever you select. I know they would want, whoever you select will want to do what's the best thing for Orange City. It's just a matter of capturing it all and putting it in
Right.
the contract.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, with labor negotiations, with those kind of things, you want to continue, finish up what we're doing, and then it could be decided whether or not there would be a change or,
Talk to
Gotcha.
whoever you select
perfect.
and see what they bring to it and whether or not that was actually in their game plan.
Gotcha.
I don't know, and I cannot discern it from the proposals that were submitted.
Exactly.
I
Okay.
will say that your current legal counsel have a tremendous amount of institutional knowledge that benefits the city, benefits Ms. Arrington and her folks. That really helps
Yeah.
going forward.
Okay.
It's because in this instance, he represents multiple cities in our geographic area.
Right.
So
I like the fact-
completely the opposite.
I like the fact that, right, they're one city per county.
Right.
I think there'd be no conflict with adjoining cities.
I tend to agree on everything but labor negotiations.
Can you hear out there when they sit at the table? Okay, so make sure. Can you hear back there? Yeah, okay. Okay, yes. Thank you.
No, I'll wait.
Sure.
Yeah, good.
Just into it.
So does mine.
Not a good feeling, I know. Hello. Okay, do you have any PowerPoint or anything like that? Just need to know.
No PowerPoint.
Okay, okay.
I
So
just
you
have-
want, you just want to go ahead and introduce yourselves then?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Good evening. I'm Dan Langley. This is Kurt Ardeman. This is Hillary Griffith. We're with the Fishback Dominic Law Firm. Our main and only office is in Winter Park. It's a pleasure to meet you all. Thank you for this opportunity. Want to tell you a little bit about ourselves. First of all, Fishback Dominic is celebrating its 90th year in business. We are the third oldest law firm in Central Florida, and we have had clients for our entire years of service. And also what's impressive about us, we've represented cities for a very long period of time in our history. We represented the city of Belle Isle for over 50 years, city of DeBary for over 25 years, represented the city of Winter Garden for probably 25 years at this point, city of Winter Park for over 10 years, city of Longwood for over 15 years, and our newest city, Ocoee, just a few years. But actually, we represented them as special counsel even before we became city attorney. We have about a dozen lawyers in our law firm. Every one of our lawyers contributes to some extent to our municipal law practice. However, we are a diverse civil practice firm, so we don't just bring municipal law to the table. We have the whole range of civil practice, commercial litigation, we have litigators, and all those folks contribute to our bench. The other thing to note is that 3 of the firm's partners are board certified in city, county, local government law, myself, Kurt, and our partner Rick Geller. Board certification is a very important thing to have. It shows that you're a specialist or an expert in the practice area of city, county, local government, and it is something that is valued. And Hillary will be sitting for that certification shortly. She's been getting the proper education credits and learning and getting the experience necessary to do that. If we are fortunate enough to be chosen by you, I will serve as the city attorney. Hillary will serve as the deputy city attorney. And we will share the meetings schedules before your board and your other boards. Our firm is AV rated, which is the highest peer review you can have. All the firm partners are AV rated. And as I mentioned, we currently have a extensive municipal practice. We represent 6 cities, Longwood and Seminole County, 4 cities in Orange County. That's Winter Park, Winter Garden, Ocoee, and Belle Isle, and currently one city, hopefully 2 in Volusia. We represent the city of DeBary. We have been with DeBary since 2000. Me personally, my entire legal career, I have worked for the city of DeBary. And I currently still do their development review, which is extensive, as you're aware by being a neighbor. So we don't take lightly that we apply for city attorney positions. There are opportunities to come up and we just don't go in after every single one. Some firms do that, we don't. We are picky. First of all, we figure out, can we handle it? Make sure we give excellent customer service. Would this be a good fit for our firm? Would we be able to give you what you need? And would it create any conflicts for you? And we've evaluated your city and we believe we're a good fit. You're aware we represent your neighboring city. We don't think that's going to be a conflict at all. In all of our experience working with DeBary, I'm not aware of any situation where there would be a conflict. We've reached out to the DeBary folks. They don't think it's an issue. To the extent your fire department serves our client DeBary, that's already an existing agreement. It's in place. I don't see any issues there. And most of those issues would be addressed by the management and the councils with respect to the business decisions that are made on those issues and not the lawyers. And if we ever had an issue, we'll find a solution to it, but I'm pretty certain it won't be an issue. It hasn't been so far. I also wanted to make clear, I think it's great about our firm is once we get a city and we represent them, we tend to hold on to them or they hold on to us. I view it that way. And I think it's because we're prompt, we give excellent customer service, and we're just good, nice people to work with. I mean, it is so, I get so disheartened when I see lawyers treat people poorly and they give lawyers a bad name. And so one of the things that I really enjoy about what I do representing local governments is working with the city staffs and building those relationships, and also in the council and commission members. And that's so critical, people skills, which is something, you know, a lot of younger people are not getting these days, but fortunately the lawyers in our firms understand it and are being taught it. And so that's what we bring to the table also, is those relationships. And I hope that you all have had the opportunity, or at least somebody on your staffs, to reach out to the city managers of the cities that we represent, because I don't think you're going to find better references than ours, because I know our relationships with our city managers, and I'm comfortable saying that they like what they're getting out of us. And that goes for the council members. If you know any council members of any of the cities we represent, feel free to reach out to them. I mean, you can't make everybody happy, but I think all the time, but I'm sure they will tell you that they'll speak highly of us, and they might disagree. I'm talking about the council members from time to time, but that's the nature of being human. We don't always agree, but we call balls and strikes. We're not here to play politics. We don't do that. We're here to give you advice. You make the decisions. We are not a member of the council. We understand our role, and that's to give legal advice and to do what it takes to facilitate your goal. And that's what we're about. We're about solutions. What are you trying to accomplish? How can we get you there in a legal way? May not be the original plan, but we will look for the solution to get you to the most goals you're trying to reach. And I think that's what distinguishes us in many ways. You know, one of the things I've heard from city managers in my career, and Kurt's heard it too, is I can hire any lawyer to tell me no, you can't do that because of this law or that law. It's rare to find a lawyer that says, how can I get to yes? And that's what we look for. Now, like I said, it's not always a direct route, but there is a way most of the time. And, you know, the legislature is throwing us curveballs all the time, and we're trying to work around some of that craziness too. So we're trying to bring solutions to the table. And again, one of the things I like to do and our firm likes to do is get ahead of things before they get on the agenda, work with the staff, get stuff tidied up so your meetings run smoothly. You know, the last thing any of us want are surprises on the dais. And so that's important too. Let's make sure we do the work in advance, get the agenda figured out, and bring to you a nice product for your consideration. We try to avoid unnecessary conflicts. We're really good at trying to keep our clients out of litigation. I've taken over representation of a city 15 years ago that was just flooded with litigation. And within 2 years, I pretty much had most of it cleared out. You go through it, and some lawyers are just trained, let's litigate everything. It doesn't matter what is practically going on. They're just looking at it as a litigation problem. Not everything's a litigation problem. You have a lot of tools that you can use to solve problems. And sometimes it takes understanding the other side and what they're looking for, what their goals are, to come up with a solution. The other thing about our firm, I should tell you, is that we don't only represent governments. We have a storied history of representing private property owners, businesses, before governments that we do not represent. And we do not represent any private client in a situation that would create a conflict. We do not represent anyone I'm aware of in Orange City that would create a conflict. But what I'm telling you was that gives us this perspective. We understand all sides, and I think that's critical when you're trying to find solutions. What is your developers trying to figure out? What is your small business owner trying to figure out? What is your HOA trying to accomplish? Because, you know, having that knowledge is very helpful when you're representing a city and trying to find a solution. Again, we try to keep you out of litigation, but if you're in litigation, sometimes that can't be controlled. We have a strong litigation team, and we can go to bat for you and do our best to get you the best result possible. Me personally, I'm board certified. I've been practicing local government law for 23 years, represented the city of DeBerry as city attorney for 15 years, DeBerry for over 22 years now. I'm also the city attorney for the city of Belle Isle, deputy city attorney for Winter Park, and deputy city attorney for Winter Garden. Also during the craziness of the DeSantis versus Disney litigation that was highly publicized, Kurt and I were the general counsel for the Reedy Creek Improvement District, which became the Central Florida Tourism Oversight District. So we were in the midst of a tornado, inside of a hurricane, and we dealt with that, working nonstop with a team of litigation folks, a team of media people, with a team of staff members. So we're used to dealing with difficult things, difficult situations, and working a lot of hours. Not that I want to do that all the time, but we are definitely capable of doing it when it's necessary. We have dealt with almost every aspect of municipal law. We've seen it all from all the cities we represent. So, I mean, it's rare something is completely unique, but I'll tell you what's great about practicing local government law is it's dynamic, it's different, every day something new, and it's exciting. And, that's why I love what I do. I mean, some people just do one thing over and over and over again, read the same contract, draft the will. I mean, it just gets monotonous. But councils, commission, public, city managers, city staff, they keep it interesting, that's for sure. So that's a lot of fun. I'm going to turn it over to Hillary to have her say a couple things about herself, and then Kurt.
Hi, everyone. Hillary Griffith, like you said, I think he covered the history of the firm pretty well. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I've been practicing for 7 years. My background is in real estate and also land use in city and local government. That's what I've done the entirety of my career. I currently sit as the assistant city attorney for Belle Isle, Winter Park, and Winter Garden for various boards, and cover when needed for other meetings for other attorneys when they're out for vacation or sickness or what have you. I think the best part of our firm is that we have a deep bench and we have a lot of attorneys that can fill in gaps because we have such a varied background from, litigation to real estate to personal injury to what have you. We have an attorney that's probably done it at our firm, and they all pitch in. We have 5 or 6 that really do local government law, but we really have a large array of types of law that we have in our firm, and we meet on a monthly basis and talk about the issues that we see and bounce ideas off each other. So that's been super helpful for our clients and for all of our attorneys to grow. So I'll hand it over to Kurt now.
Good evening. Thank you all again for having us here to talk with you all and offer us the opportunity for you to consider us. My name's Kurt Ardeman. I've been practicing law since 1984, so that's 41 years. I've been practicing local government law for that entire period. I've also done a lot of eminent domain, inverse condemnation law for that period of time. Actually, my undergraduate degree was in civil engineering at the University of Florida, and I did very well, went to law school right after that. So when I got to my law firm, they said, oh, we've got this condemnation case. We have a property owner that had a problem, and none of the other lawyers wanted to touch it. It had engineering drawings and numbers and calculations, and so I got the short end of the stick and got it, and I loved it. So I went on to do a lot of that and participate on land use and really every aspect of local government law. Really enjoyed being the city attorney for the city of DeBerry from 2000. Great folks there. You all have a great neighbor, and DeBerry has a great neighbor with you all. Dan touched on the potential conflict issue. We certainly vetted that very carefully. We do have a common boundary between DeBerry and Orange City. You all do provide the fire service for the city. That's in place. Carmen Rosamanda, the city manager for the city of DeBerry, and I've spoken about the issues. He is in favor. I've had a number of people ask that we should submit to Orange City because of what the city is. But the other thing is you're proximate to DeBerry. So we would have 2 cities that have actually common interests. The western part of Volusia County, we're very familiar with what happens in the county and how sometimes, at least it has been in the past, where our end of the county, that's DeBerry and Orange City, get kind of the short end of the stick. We used to. Not so as much anymore. And, oh, we're out of time? Okay, anyway, thank you all very much and look forward to answering any questions you have.
Thank you. Want to go first again, Dawn? Okay.
Hello, nice to meet you. So, with regard to the lead attorney, and then we've got a deputy attorney, so I understand, Mr. Langley, that you would be the designated lead attorney,
Correct,
but you cannot attend the first city council meeting of each month, is that right?
correct. That's what we're proposing.
Gotcha. So describe the reason for the schedule conflict and if a possibility to overcome the conflict is available. What our concern is that we would like to have someone on a consistent basis, whereas if we had something that we needed to continue or talk about, or it was, you know, something that was definitely a big ticket item, I know that your firm would communicate with each other. However, if we had the same attorney on a consistent basis, I think it would bode well for our city, as it has for the last forever with Mr. Reichman.
Understand. So, we've worked as a team in other cities where we share this role, and it's worked out really well. And in fact, I believe the council in those cities enjoy it because they're getting different team members and we are communicating. If we'd had a situation like that, we could swap meetings. I mean, you know, frankly, I cover a lot of night meetings, and you know, I do have to occasionally go home, and so I don't think it will ever cause a problem for you if we had to be in the situation you're describing, and hopefully that's not all the time, but if you do have something that was on one hot button issue on a council meeting, let's say on the fourth Tuesday, and then it continues to the second Tuesday of the next month, you know, we can make arrangements, because we have a lot of lawyers that I could sub in for that meeting, but then have Hillary cover the meeting I would normally cover. So that's how we would handle that. So I think we could get that covered, but we are presenting it as she would cover one meeting, I would cover the other, unless some circumstance like that occurs where we would need to have that consistency. You know, for instance, like tonight is your special meeting, right? So I had another meeting tonight. I have an associate cover that, who's the deputy city attorney for that city, and he usually covers the other meeting. So he came in, and the council and the manager are happy. It's a light agenda. But if it weren't a light agenda, then, you know, we would do something differently.
So, Councilman, if I could step in on that as well. So that's a very good question, and you've got a great lawyer, Bill. We've known each other for a long time, and I appreciate that consistency. But to Dan's point, we have been surprised how effective it is to be able to have some multiple lawyers. It really probably would be, you know, Heather and Dan. And if you needed somebody special, we can bring them in. But for Ocoee, Rick Geller is the designated city attorney for Ocoee. I've stepped in multiple times with Rick or for Rick, and it's worked out so well because the city manager, the mayor, councilman can call either one of us about those issues. Winter Park, the same thing. Dan and I frequently will step in to the City of Winter Park Commission meeting. So it's something that we found surprisingly, but is more, in my opinion, it's more beneficial to our city because they get the benefit and easy access to both of us, or three of us.
Understood. Well, thank you for your answers.
I wanted to tail end on that. So Ms. Griffith is the deputy attorney, right? And I wanted to know what your experience was as first chair attorney at public hearings and meetings.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So my experience is currently I'm sitting for 3 different cities on the board or representing the city as the assistant city attorney, but I'm the only attorney there. So for planning and zoning, code enforcement, and for board of adjustments, I'm the sitting attorney for that. But to your point, if you're concerned that I'm not sitting for a council meeting, I completely understand that. And my counter to that would be kind of what Dan said here, is that they're always prepared for their meetings, and they prepare by doing the research or being up to date on the statute or the House bill that came through, and that's where the team member comes in. I'm always working with them on different issues that are going to come before the council or the board or the commission. So it's not something that's in a vacuum. I have a lot of experience with the types of issues that come before these types of councils.
Thank you. Ms. Richardson?
The city has existing contracts for insurance and labor disputes, including cyber insurance. Describe how the firm will engage with these existing contracts.
Yes, sure, excellent question. So, you have existing vendors, and those insurance policies will appoint legal defense for you if you have a claim. And typically, we let them run with it, and just the lawyers that are appointed on those claims, and they will keep us up to date, or we'll reach out to them to keep up to date. We don't feel the need to do double work and charge you for things that you're already getting per your policy. So it's not our practice to be in the weeds and going to depositions or involved in the pleading. So, but we have in all our cities insurance policies where like auto accidents, cyber policy claims. Outside lawyers handle that. We work well outside counsel, also labor and employment law. We would prefer that you have a labor and employment lawyer separate from us. My personal thought about that is from my standpoint, I'd rather not be the labor and employment lawyer when I'm dealing with the city staff, because they don't see me as an adversary or somebody that might be across the deposition table from them in the future because of some claim they may file. So it's my strong preference that you have an outside or a different lawyer for labor and employment law and also labor union issues.
Thank you.
Anybody else from the council?
The fee schedule, that's $5,000 for 20 hours. That's what? Like for a month, a week?
That's for a month. So the way that works is that that's essentially a way to give you a discounted rate for a number of hours to cover meetings. It's not intended, it's not a guesstimate for your legal services in a month. That's not what we're trying to do.
So you're just figuring 20 hours a month for meetings, kind of, sort of?
And, what it typically also covers is, telephone calls with staff, the council members or managers. And so, we have similar, pretty much the same type of thing across the board for all our cities. It's just a way of discounting a rate for the day-to-day stuff. We're going to the meetings, we're having calls from city managers or the staff, and it's a way to give you a discounted rate. Our rate is higher than that for over that.
Everything else is based per hour above that?
Yes.
Is that subject to negotiation?
Within reason, I don't know what that means, but yeah, within reason.
So I've got to say, I talked to Bill a lot more, our staff does, the council meetings. A low month would be 100 hours.
Say that again?
I want to say he probably with his whole legal team, we're looking at anywhere from 80 to 100 hours every month, not 20. That to me seemed very low. So.
Well, look, could I join in? Because obviously this relationship going forward needs to be appropriate for both sides, including financially. So right now, our firm represents the city of Orange City on an hourly basis, as the city manager just indicated. My opinion that you have 3 different law firms that are very, very good from which you can select. I think you would be ably represented by them. They all have different pros and cons as far as that. So financial is an aspect. And I saw in your fee schedule that the effective hourly rate for the 20 hours is $250 an hour. And then for above that, it's a blend. And for you folks on the gentleman on the left, it's 325, and then I believe it would be for Ms. Griffith, it currently would be 285. That's the way I understand it. Just so, let's say the city was going to select you all. There would be discussions about going forward about negotiating a contract. Right now, DSK has offered the City of Orange City, City Council, and its taxpayers an alternative of hourly rate of $250 an hour, straight across. So, just want to make sure going forward for all the folks on my right and for you, that's the real world. So I didn't know if that's something that, because they're going to want to know that. My client's going to want to know in making their selection, which, you know, what the taxpayers are going to have to pay, that's going to be a factor. So is that something that you could be competitive with? So that that can help this council make a decision this evening whether they want to select your firm to represent them going forward.
We have deals with other cities that pay us the same rates that we're proposing you. I couldn't in good faith to give you a better rate than I give multiple other cities. I'm sorry. If that's the deal breaker, it's a deal breaker. And thank you for your time. I'm just being honest with you. I think you're gonna get excellent value out of us. I mean, I know the rate might be scary, but if somebody knows what they're doing, they're not gonna spend hours and hours getting it done. Whether it's a firm, and look, the rates are rates. You know, sometimes what happens is you get in a place, you've been there a long time, and you just get stuck in that rate. It's really hard to ask for a raise, but, you know, we're at the rates we are now, and I just can't go to my other clients and somehow say, I gave another city that we never worked for before a better deal than what you're paying us for years. So, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Could I just
Yes,
clarify
go ahead.
that? I don't know that it's so much the hourly rate as the initial number of hours. And what I'm hearing is a firm no. It's 20 hours for a set amount. You would not consider doing
No, I
80
didn't.
hours
I didn't
for a
say
different.
no. I didn't say no to that. I said within reason, we would consider that. But I don't know what you're requesting. If you're requesting 100 hours at that rate, the answer is no.
Don't know. Don't know either. So just wanted to see where we were.
Right. So the other benefit of having Ms. Griffith come to your meetings and being involved is you get the lower rate. Again, I mean, with the associates, they're billing the 275, and you're getting the 250 at the, for the first tier. And so there's a big value there, and with some oversight to the extent needed from partners.
Okay.
Yeah, I need to comment on that. It's always an issue, and you all are in a tough spot because you protect the taxpayers' dollars. You're servants. We're all servants, all as public officials. And that's such a privilege to be there. I mean, you each were elected or appointed, presumably all elected, but it's something that money that may be, it's in the public eye, oh, they're paying them, $50 or $75 an hour more than somebody else, is, in my humble opinion, after 41 years of doing this and seeing it, that is not the primary focus. It should not, in my opinion, be the primary focus, because one bad decision will cost a municipal government or a county government untold amounts of money and grief and headaches. And what you get with us is phenomenal experience, a great representation. You're probably not going to find anybody better for this rate. Our private rates are, for my case, more than double that. Yet we spend the time because it is a privilege. And like Dan said, we thought about this long and hard before we decided to apply. And you all are a good city, and you've got good folks here. And so our thought is that should not, clearly you have to talk about it, you have to think about it. To Bill's point, it is a factor. But I would suggest to you that is not the primary factor. If we were double that rate, that's one thing. But we're not. We're very competitive. All the other cities pay a very comparable. Some of them, in certain circumstances, pay more. But bottom line is, I think you all will be well served, and the citizens of Orange City will be well served to focus on what you're getting, not on exactly how much that costs. Sorry, I just had to say that.
Thank you.
Since you wouldn't be able to attend the first meeting of the month, and we've got, you would come in, what is your communication style within the office environment so that you both are all up to speed on agenda items, big ticket items, and things that are in the pipeline that we would need information on?
Yeah, first of all, all the municipal lawyers' offices are pretty much next to one another, and this guy is loud, and I hear everything he's saying. But we pop in each other's office. I have an open door policy.
All day long.
And constantly back and forth, juggling client matters. It's very effective. It surprises me, in fact, how effective it's been to, with the communication and prepping other people for meetings. And we also, as Hillary stated, we do have monthly attorney meetings. We don't charge our clients for this, where all the attorneys of the firm sit down for an hour, hour and a half on a Tuesday morning, and we bounce around issues and try to brainstorm solutions to things. And that's a very valuable thing for our clients and also.
And their office is within 10 steps, 15 steps from my office. So I'm pretty much in their office every single day, and we're going over things. We're always working on things. So they're not your normal partners. They're very open door, very friendly. I can talk to them about whatever things I'm seeing, and they come to me whenever they need help with anything as well. So it's very communal.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
I had one.
Fran?
Who would be attending the various other meetings for the city, for which the city attorney's presence would be required, such as the planning commission or code enforcement, special magistrate meetings? And speaking that, what would be their depth and experience in state and local land use and planning codes?
Good question. So Hillary would cover most of those meetings, and if need be, we can bring in Brandon Pownell, who also has tremendous experience in those areas. And we have another associate that's been covering code enforcement as well. But as far as land use and planning, there's not a better bench of lawyers in Central Florida than what you're getting with our firm. We've all covered planning and zoning and been in planning, zoning litigation, land use litigation. That's one of the things I think I'm pretty good at is land use litigation. Kurt does a lot of it. So you're going to get a really good bench with land use planning, and you're going to see your neighbor. We've been dealing with that over 20 years of that growth. So anyway, we know what we're doing in that area.
Yeah, it would likely be me, and I'm already sitting on a planning and zoning board and a board of adjustments and a code enforcement board. So I have experience in all of those, and if it conflicted with anything, I would probably take this, and if we needed a backup attorney, we have other attorneys that also do planning and zoning and land use.
Thank you.
So just to reiterate, with her covering those meetings at the Planning and Zoning Board, she's seeing this stuff before it comes to you. So it's not like she's caught off guard. She's going to be more up to speed on those issues than I would be, because she's going to that meeting. That's one of the benefits that I have when I cover, like, my Winter Park Planning and Zoning Board. I'm seeing it, and sometimes I'll cover the commission meeting on something that's hot button just because I'm more up to speed than Kurt may be. So that's, again, it's valuable to have that.
And I do that for Winter Garden. I sit on the Planning and Zoning Board as their counsel, not on the board, but as their counsel, and then it goes to City Commission. They are a commission there, and then it's very, very, very helpful. One other thing I think that's of benefit to everybody that we represent is the ideas that we get, not just at the attorney strategy meetings, but we communicate daily with some novel issues. And we all, as city servants, are seeing things out of the legislature that we've seen that are pretty egregious, in my opinion, by the legislature, what they're doing to our cities. And so I get calls, we all get calls from different cities and different city attorneys to try to figure out how to solve some of those problems, how to deal with them. It's a really good group of lawyers, typically, that represent cities. And I think our firm has, the 6 cities, if you all elect to hire us as your city attorney, we'd have 7. And my take on it is you're getting a lot of advice that doesn't have to be researched because it's already been dealt with in other cities. Anyway, so that's, I think, a benefit for having us.
Anybody else? You good? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Go ahead, Mr. Eichmann.
Before we get the other folks in, just
Yeah.
a couple observations.
Yeah.
I'm going to be very blunt. The way I hear that is that the lawyer that you're going to be working with, hire the Fishbeck dominant primarily, is going to be Mrs. Griffith. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with it. She's going to be coming to one of the council meetings. She's going to be at
Ms. Griffith, is that what you said? Yes,
yes, Hillary Griffith, the lady who's sitting on the end.
yes.
She's going to be going to Historic Preservation Board, she's going to Code
Yes.
Enforcement Planning, your Planning Commission, and so on and so forth. That's positive. But remember, again, she doesn't have the depth of experience, just like we had with DSK, who was the younger attorney who was going to be representing you if you select that firm. So there are some similarities there. As far as the fees go,
It's a hard no.
well, if most of the work above the 20 hours, assuming you can negotiate more, if most of the work is being done by Mrs. Griffith, her hourly rate right now is $285.
Yeah,
She's going to get board certified, I'm sure, and/or made a
Go up.
partner, then that becomes $300.
that's right.
So that is effectively more than the $250. I will leave it to you whether you believe that is a deal breaker or not. A lot of the comments that you heard from Mr. Ardeman are well taken.
Yes,
And they are a very good law firm and have a lot of experience in local government, and I've worked with all three firms. You have three good choices here. There are nuances around the edges.
I did a little quick math, and, you know, they're charging $5,000 per month for 20 hours. So I took 80 hours at $250 an hour, comes out to 20,000. So they're right there when you add it all together. It's all gonna be 24, 25,000 a month.
No, because the 5,000 is only for the first 20 hours.
Correct.
As opposed to their fee schedule.
Right, and I did 80 hours at $250 an hour, is another $20,000.
But they're not 250 an hour, they're at 285 for her
So-
and 300.
So then it'll be
and
more than.
400.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and he's 400,
I
I
just
mean,
ballparked it, so
Five.
what is it?
285?
Mr. Langley would be 325
Three-
above the 20. to the
Oh,
work
okay.
he did above 20. And Mrs. Griffith would be, I'm going to just say for the future, would be the 300, because I'm sure she's going to get board certified, and she'll be made partner, I'm sure, at some point in the near future.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, but he made a comment that he wouldn't want to go to other cities like DeBarry and say, well, I gave Orange City a deal, right?
I get that.
Right. But another thing is, DeBarry's twice the size of us, too.
I don't know and so you'd have to look at what they pay every month to this law firm.
Okay.
It could be. We all just need to have one conversation, folks.
Harry.
Please. The other thing I wanted to, just an observation, again, this is not a big issue, but yes, there is a potential, and it's real potential for a conflict going forward.
Yeah,
We may not have a current conflict with the arrangement with the city or fire services. That contract is not forever, and it's going to need to be renegotiated at some point in time.
yes.
And at that point in time, that law firm cannot represent the city of Orange City and the city of DeBarry. Not that that's a deal breaker, but I wanted to make that observation.
Last time, we had two different law firms involved in the negotiations between DeBarry and Orange City. Bill was our attorney, and yes, they were
Right,
They were what? I can't hear you.
DeBarry's attorney.
right.
Right.
So, and we had some issues we needed to iron out. Our relations are good, but there have been times, and we have worked it out without any type of legal involvement, but there's an annexation agreement, that has been questioned by DeBarry, not recently, but in the past.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that could be a conflict in the future, because our borderlines touch.
And we have an agreement on what we may annex and what we may not. We have an annexation line drawn
Okay.
around. So,
I think that you can say is that.
There's some issues there that we work well together. I don't want
Yeah.
anyone to get the opinion that we don't.
Right.
There's just a potential with this law, because they represent DeBerry, where you would not have it with, for example, DSK, because of their policy. And again, I'm not trying to conflate that to an issue that you can't consider them. It's just that I think it's our job to make.
And I think, I'm going to speak for everybody, but I think everybody kind of heard what you're saying, you know?
Do you all need a couple more minutes?
Yeah, just,
To that point, this question, no, I'm gonna retract that.
no, forget it.
No, I don't,
Anybody else want to say anything?
So,
Crossed my mind. It crossed my mind that could be
Put your microphone down.
I had a question, but it's really for Bill, because I don't know this, and that is the switching of attorneys every meeting. Because currently, as you know, on our first and second reading of land use issues, we will have the same attorney here representing the developer or the owner of the property, but a different person in this chair
Here's,
meeting. And I don't know if that would be problematic
here's
or
where I
not.
think the only issue could come up. Let's say that you have a really controversial quasi-judicial. It's a rezoning of a property or a variance or some other application for development order where you've got a room full of people and they're all wearing the same color T-shirt. You know what I'm talking about. Okay. Let's say that you can't make a decision in the first meeting, and then it gets continued until the next meeting, or for whatever reason, it gets continued for a month later. If you've got two different attorneys, and you heard this evening, one of the jobs that I do, that our firm does, that any firm, is to make sure that whatever your decision is on that quasi-judicial matter, whether it's to approve the application, to allow the rezoning, or approve the variance, or to deny it, is supported by the record, is supported by the evidence. And if you've got one attorney that's been to hearing number one, and then a different attorney that's been on hearing number two, I'm not sure unless the attorney number two has read the record and made themselves familiar. Now, with that said, I don't think I can remember in the 26 years that I've been here that there's been more than one, maybe two occasions, 26 years, where that has happened. But to Dale's question, which is a good question, that to me is from a practical standpoint where that could be a problem, where you have. In my experience, and again, this is just, you know, in the cities that I've represented, having consistency between council meetings is important. Institutional knowledge is important. Now, a smaller law firm like this, they're going to communicate very clearly. I think if you were hiring a law firm that had 100 lawyers, then you might have some concerns because look, I mean, I can't come to all your meetings. Get sick or every once in a while. So it's not like any law firm can promise that there's going to be one person there. We're human beings, but here you're going in knowing that you're going to have two different attorneys, at least at the city council. I think in this particular case, the staff is going to be working with Mrs. Griffith on a regular basis. That's what I'm taking.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dawn. Dana?
Every lawyer has a different approach procedurally. Substantively, they should have enough communications between them so that substantively, the substantive law, they would provide a consistent opinion. And that's a matter of preparing each other.
Can you address the chair in the future, because Dawn was in the queue?
Oh, I was curious with the combined evaluation committee ranking that we're looking at. So this was presented at last council meeting, and so we're looking at where they ranked with the information that we're discussing. I'm just curious how the rankings went prior to these discussions. Were these things that we've just discussed where we're not necessarily, you know, we're on the border with, were they brought to light during the combined evaluation committee meeting?
They were brought to light and they formed the basis of the questions that we've handed to you.
Right.
So that you could get some answers on how it would be handled. So,
As far as the combined rankings are concerned, though, how did you get to that? You know, because I know the lower the number, the better the outcome was. Is that basically what I'm looking?
Let me try to
remember?
address that. The group spotted a lot of issues. I haven't seen any issues or information that's come forward
Yeah.
this evening that would raise new issues,
Okay.
or at least for me. I can't speak for Ms. Arrington or for the other members of the committee. But we didn't have all the answers, of course, to those questions, and that's why the committee came up with this list of questions to help make this decision a fully informed decision this evening.
So now this would shake it up and we'll get a little different answer if we were to do this same kind of, if, I know what you did, it's not what we're going to do. But my point is that if we were looking at some of these answers that we have now, it's going to skew this. It's going to be
If you-
different.
If you went back to
Okay.
the evaluation
Yes.
committee, you might get a different ranking. Because now
We have more
it
answers.
is no longer as speculative. So-
Understood, and I just wanted to make sure, and, 'cause
Yes.
we're all looking at this, sorry, we're all looking at this too, in conjunction with what we're asking, so it does kind of change that, just,
I haven't heard
Counsel.
anything this evening so far that we didn't at least talk about during
Okay.
the committee discussion. Got a lot of good input. The members of the committee that you chose brought a lot of different perspectives to the discussion. It was a very productive discussion and process.
okay. All right, thank you so much, sorry.
Dana, did you have anything else to say? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off like that. Okay, anybody else? Lisa Marie?
So I'm not familiar with this, but with them having so many other cities that they represent, would it be a conflict to where our meetings and another city meetings will be held on the same day, or?
Could
Only
be.
to the extent that they have designated two attorneys to represent the city of Orange City, and I think we fleshed that out pretty well. The fact that this law firm and the other law firms represent other cities, quite frankly, I think as long as you have consistency between the attorney they're designating, representing other cities, I have found to be very helpful. Because as was indicated tonight, these issues are not unique to Orange City. There's a lot of common issues that all cities, all local governments in Florida face. And so it's very helpful for you to get economies of scale through your lawyers if they do represent other attorneys, because they probably have had the opportunity or the obligation to deal with some of the problems before. And then they can do work for the city of Orange City and take that knowledge and that wisdom and provide that to some of their other cities if and when that comes up. So I think it's helpful.
Yeah, and that's a good question. I'm glad you asked that. But I think tonight we got to think about, number one, their experience, what we're looking for. Number two, how's our relationship going to be with them, not just the council, but the staff, right? And then number three, how much is it going to cost, right? Those are the three main things that I'm looking at. And number four is attendance, right? Like, we don't want flip-flop. I mean, I personally, I shouldn't say we, I don't want to speak for y'all, but I personally don't like the flip-flopping of it for those reasons that you mentioned. You know, that if you're in a meeting about one thing and then you get to the second reading and they may not be, you know, let's just say I'll use them as example, but they get in their meeting and they don't go over that, and then they come and they're not prepared. Not saying they would, most attorneys are prepared, right? But you just never know. So I personally feel comfortable with knowing that we're their number one, right? So just think about that. Okay. Dan?
Something else to keep in mind too is how stretched are the attorneys going to be, and how fast are they going to be able to get back to us, or, you know, especially city manager and staff regarding issues. That's something else we need to be thinking about as well.
Do they have an open door policy also, like the other firm? Where we're able to call them throughout the day, or if we have questions to ask?
I think you can feel comfortable that all of these law firms, you can call them anytime, but to your point, you know, a lot of times, they're otherwise occupied. For example, I will tell you this, just for what it's worth. When I started representing local governments, I stopped my litigation practice. And here's why. Because when you do litigation, you can be in court for 4 or 5 straight days. There's no way you can deal with sometimes the very important communications that you have with your local governments that can't wait till the end of your trial. So I made a decision to stop my litigation practice and focus solely on representing local governments. I don't think you are going to have that concern. I didn't hear that concern with any of the 2 applicants so far.
The only other thing that I'd like to say is I think, looking at the dollars and cents, I think Fishback could potentially be the most expensive of the three because they're $2.85 an hour after 20.
Well, it's $2.85, but there's 3 different ones, and they have 3 different fees. So it depends who you
Well,
get.
take the average.
Yeah.
If you chose the alternate for DSK, you know at least what you're paying per hour. It's $2.50, it's $2.50, it's $2.50. But remember now, there's other options. You can have the retainer for DSK, you can have the partial retainer for Fishback, and so on. So there's a lot of different ways. I mean, I would imagine that when whoever you select this evening, you're going to direct staff to go back and try to negotiate the best possible arrangement financially that can be brought back to you for your final approval.
Okay.
No, he was pretty adamant about the
It's a
structure.
hard no. Okay, anybody else? We'll call in the next ones.
You ready?
Yes. Thank you.
All right, so there are 6 of them. So how do you want to handle that? Would you rather me hand them the wireless mic, or just so I can kind of guide them when they're coming in?
Yeah, I think, don't you think, just hand the mic over as they talk, or?
I think perhaps, I'm not sure that all of them will be speaking. They told me that Mrs. Bose would be doing the primary presentation. She would like to use the podium if she may.
Oh, okay.
So why don't you ask them when they come in how they would like
So that we
to
could just call
arrange
them up.
themselves?
Can I make a little,
Yes.
before we bring them in, just getting, because once they're here,
Yeah.
I think then we'll invite everyone back in. So just a couple of observations going forward in this law firm. You know, I've been lucky enough to represent you all since 1999. And I think there is value for any city to have a lawyer representing for a long period of time.
Yeah.
So if you get someone that's my age to begin representing you, then the chances are they're not going to be your city attorney for a long period of time. Just keep that in mind for all 3 of these.
Yes.
Quite frankly, I think with the first 2, what you're going to be looking at is having 2 younger attorneys in each one of those firms, primarily. That can be a good thing, because you're going to have them for a long period of time.
Right.
And you may not like retirement either.
So,
No
you know,
comment.
the other thing is there will be an initial getting to know you period.
Yeah.
And that initial getting to know you period, I don't want to be chintzy about. I want to show them, you know, all of the workings of city government. So you need to be aware of that, you know, as we go through this. And it's easier to show one prime everything and let him trickle it down than to be dealing with multiple attorneys on that. So it will be, I suspect, your first year.
Yeah.
You know, we will have more billable hours at, you know, or on the shadow. You will see a lot more work than you would necessarily as months go by when they're not so busy learning a whole new system and whole new department set up and what our issues are here.
Okay. You could retire a couple times like Chief over here, right? We could bring it back again and again and again. Okay, Kaylee. Would you like to use the podium, and then you can bring up each person that wants to speak? Would that be good for you? Or we have 3 at the front with a mic also?
There's a mic on those 3 chairs there.
Just for the presentation,
Okay.
if that works.
Well,
You
this
have
is
to leave it
being
over there, though.
televised.
Yes.
For a YouTube star, you've just moved out of camera range.
Yeah, we're actually streaming live, so the camera kind of goes around here, right?
Do you
you have a presentation to display, or is it
No.
okay, just
No,
making sure.
we do not. Actually. Ah, okay.
Huh? She said this is good. She'll come up. She'll come up. Right? You're good? Okay. We waiting for Mr. Reichman, or?
I think we can
Okay.
probably start with
Okay.
Adam. Your call.
All yours.
Okay, very good. Okay, I'll try to get over here. How about that? Okay, good evening. I'm Becky Vos, and I'm the founding partner of the Vos Law Firm. And with me today are 5 of our other attorneys. We've got Nancy Stuparich, Paul Waters, Taylor Simons, Wade Vos, his name's the same as mine because he's my son, and then Garrett Olson. Okay, we're all really excited to be here to make this presentation to you. Stephanie Vello, who's the town attorney for the town of Oakland, would be here except that she's in a town commission meeting in Oakland tonight. And Chloe Berryman, who is the city attorney for Brooksville, is actually in Oviedo tonight. So they're not here, otherwise they would be here. Our of-council attorney, Ralph Brooks, is the city attorney of St. Pete Beach, and he's actually not on our proposal for Orange City because he only works with us with regard to St. Pete Beach, and that'll be relevant for another reason when I go forward. As we've detailed in our proposal, the 8 attorneys of our firm, 9 attorneys if you count Ralph, have extensive local government experience. And among us over the decades, we've provided legal counsel to well over 100 local government agencies, including holding the position of city, county, village, or town attorney for 30 different Florida local governments, and having collective government experience of well over 150 years. I think there has been some concern and possibly misunderstanding that possibly our attorneys might be spread too thin to appropriately represent Orange City, but I guarantee you that is not the case. In fact, because our firm is unique in that we only represent governments, we do not represent private clients, and that's highly unusual, by the way. Our attorney-to-client ratio is actually extremely low. The vast majority of our work is done for our 12 municipalities, 13 if you count St. Pete Beach, which Ralph handles. Our firm currently serves as city attorney for Daytona Beach Shores, South Daytona, obviously both in Volusia County, Oviedo, Cocoa Beach, Rockledge, Fort Myers Beach, Neptune Beach, Indiantown, which by the way is Florida's newest municipality, Anna Maria, Brooksville, Bunnell, Oakland, and St. Pete Beach. So we have 8 local government attorneys handling 12 municipal clients at a ratio of 1.5 cities per attorney. And that is a very low ratio because we do not represent any private clients. And that's why it might look a little odd, but other firms represent private clients also. And also, some of our municipalities are, frankly, don't need that much legal advice on a regular basis. They're very small, and it's just the fact of life. But rest assured, we have the bandwidth, the depth of field, and the energy to do a wonderful job for Orange City. Every one of our clients, their elected officials, their staff members have our cell phone numbers, and we are available 24/7, 365 days out of the year. Since many of our cities have their own police departments, we are used to fielding calls in the middle of the night. And as a matter of fact, that happened, just did happen for one of our Volusia cities recently. We feel issues having to do with firearm seizures or probable cause issues, whatever. But we keep our cell phones on. We have them muted when we're in meetings, but other than that, we answer it when we are called. When Hurricane Nicole hit Daytona Beach shores, threatening to undermine much of the beachside high-rise condominium area, I was called in the middle of the night by the building official and the director of public safety to give them legal advice with regard to actually evacuating a condominium in the middle of the night, which occurred. We know how crucial quick and accurate legal advice is for our municipal clients, and we provide it. We also take pride in our legal creativity and our can-do attitude in solving the problems of our clients. When we become a city attorney for a city, we become a part of that city, and we really do everything to fit in. And one of our favorite sayings is, when our clients succeed, so do we. And we mean that, and we live it. You can just ask any of our clients, and they'll tell you. I'd like to tell you a little bit more about some of the things that distinguish our firm from other local government firms. First, local government representation and our local government clients are the sole focus of our firm. We never represent developers, property owners, or vendors who have dealings with local governments. We have no private clients. Virtually all other local government firms in the state also represent developers and others having dealings with local governments. And frankly, we used to do that too, but we haven't for a long time. We decided that was not the way we want to go. We never want to be put in an awkward and damaging position of possibly arguing before a judge one day pro-city and the next day representing a private client and advocating anti-city. It's just a good way to lose credibility, and we just don't do it. We decided that that's not what we want to go, the way we want to go. We're loyal to our local governments, and we do nothing to damage their interests. And as a result, our attorneys are essentially immune from pressures and conflicts that come to bear upon attorneys and firms with mixed or less focused practices. Now I want to tell you about the second thing that really makes us different. We are the only local government firm in Florida that we're aware of, and we've been doing this a long time, and we've looked. We uniformly offer, which we have with Orange City, to represent local governments on a flat fee, including litigation. I'll say it again, including litigation. For Orange City, that means that we would charge one retainer fee of $24,000 per month, which, by the way, is below your budget for legal services. If you go through the line items of your budget and add them all together, it comes to a figure that's higher than $24,000 a month. And there would be no hourly rate added to that. And then let me say that again. The city would be responsible for paying us only a flat fee retainer each month, not a retainer plus extra hourly charges, not a retainer plus litigation fees, not a retainer plus special projects, or over a certain number of hours. It would just be the one charge. Now, pass-through developer-related fees, which a number of our cities have, which y'all do, those have to be dealt with separately because you couldn't do it any other way, frankly. But again, the city would be only responsible for paying us the retainer monthly. And our fixed fee proposal is at the very core of our firm's philosophy, and I want to explain that to you. Our business model, and we have thought this through and we've worked on it for, 30 years or so. Our business model is to do such a good job representing our clients and being a part of virtually everything our clients do, that we're able to limit litigation that can be the result of errors or missteps either by an attorney or by local government. Again, if our clients succeed, so do we. But why do we find this works so well? You see, it really comes down to aligning interests. It's not good for the city or any city council member or any city department heads or staff to feel any hesitancy whatsoever to pick up the phone and call us, to send us an email, worrying about running up a bill because it doesn't cost anything extra. I've seen it happen in a number of cities that people say, well, let's just go ahead and do this and we can talk with the city attorney later. Okay, bad idea. We want to be involved at step one. It helps us keep the city out of trouble. And that is imperative for our business model to work. We've got to keep the city out of trouble. We don't want you to make any mistakes. So the arrangement we propose would also provide budgetary certainty, which I think y'all know with some other cities in Volusia County, when litigation goes crazy, it can basically eat the city alive. That would not happen with us since our proposal includes all litigation. And very importantly, this arrangement would take the fear out of litigation costs when third parties threaten litigation against the city if you didn't meet their demands. Because I'm sure you've seen it before. Well, if you don't give us this, we're going to sue you. And then you're faced with legal fees. You're not faced with legal fees here. You can just turn around and tell them, so sorry, we don't pay our attorney to defend us in court. Go ahead and sue. You'd be surprised at how quickly they can backpedal on that. I listened to the meeting of the city council when y'all decided that you were going to interview us, and we were thrilled. And I learned that there was a preference that only one attorney, a consistent attorney, would go to the meetings. And that makes all the sense in the world. And Wade and I had planned on alternating, but that's not our proposal anymore. In order to make that work with our schedules, we propose that either I would be the primary attending all your meetings, or Paul Waters would be your primary attending all your meetings. Your choice. Doesn't matter to us, whichever, because frankly, we're all going to be involved. It's just the face that you would see here, at the meeting. But I definitely understand why you'd want consistency. Our firm takes a team approach to representation that has historically worked very well for our local government clients. And that sort of a team approach is apparently what y'all are used to receiving here. Because I heard when I was listening to the meeting that you're extremely qualified and well thought of current city attorney said that at any one time multiple attorneys in his office were working on Orange City matters. And that's exactly what we do too. So all of our attorneys, and that's why we're all here. And that's why I'm kind of sad that the other two attorneys aren't here, because you'd love them too. Now I'd like to take an opportunity to tell you a little bit more about the senior members of our firm. I'll start out with me. I've been practicing local government law for the last 50 years. I've been around the block a few times. After I graduated #1 in my class from the University of Florida Law School, I went to work as an assistant city attorney for Orlando. And I stayed there for 7 years. The last 2 years, I was actually the attorney who sat up with the Orlando City Council at their meetings and gave them legal advice during their meetings. After I left employment there, I became the founding partner of the Orlando office of Schutz & Bowen, which is a very large Miami-based law firm. It was actually the first law firm that was ever in Miami. And after a decade there, in 1990, I left and I opened the Vos Law Firm. In the last 45 years, I've served as city attorney for 15 different municipalities, and I've also held numerous other governmental positions. Currently, I'm co-city attorney for Cocoa Beach with Wade, co-city attorney for Daytona Beach Shores with Paul, and city attorney for the tiny city of Anna Maria on the Florida West Coast. It's a wonderful city with a population of less than 1,000. And that's kind of an example of a city that doesn't need, that much legal advice, but we're there when we're needed.
I'm sorry, but 15 minutes has passed.
Okay, do you want me to stop?
Well, we'd like to meet the others also.
Sure, I
So
was
if you
gonna
can kind of wrap
describe-
it up a little bit.
Yeah,
finish
I
up
was
what
going
you're
to
saying.
describe Paul next because he's, okay. Okay, Paul has had a 22-year legal career. Prior to joining our firm, Paul amassed a wealth of governmental representation experience in various supervisory, legal, and executive positions with the DBPR. He served as deputy secretary, which is at the very top of that agency, and he, under him were 1 million licensees and 20 of the state's regulatory boards, including the Construction Industry Licensing Board, the Building Code Commission, the Building Code Administrators Board, and the Florida Real Estate Commission, just to name a few. And he is the city attorney for Bunnell, city attorney of Neptune Beach, and co-city attorney of Daytona Beach Shores with me, and he is based in St. Augustine, which is just a little over an hour from here. So I can stop now. If you prefer, I could tell you a little bit more about some of the other attorneys. Your call.
Counsel, do you want to hear about, I personally would like them to come up and introduce herself if
Sure.
you don't mind. Just a quick, maybe few minutes, and then
Yeah.
we'll go into questioning.
Do you want me to set a timer?
You want to do 2 minutes for each person, just to get a quick introduction of y'all?
Sure.
Of the other attorneys and.
Yeah.
So, you mentioned one would be
Yes,
the
I was gonna-
representative. Okay.
that's what I was going to say. The one that would be yes, thank
Okay,
you.
all
I
right.
can't get it out.
Okay, Paul.
You read my mind. Since you would be the alternate, we wanted to hear from you first.
My name is Paul Waters, and I am a partner at the Vos firm. I've worked for the firm for almost 3 years. I also represent the city of Bunnell and the city of Neptune Beach, and as Becky said, I'm also co-counsel for Daytona Beach Shores. Prior to the firm, as Becky said, I was in charge of one of the biggest regulatory agencies in the state of Florida, and I was in charge of hundreds of employees, legal staff of over 50 attorneys. We handled some of the biggest executive boards that affect what you do on a day-to-day basis, such as the Construction Industry Licensing Board, the Florida Building Code Commission, just to name a couple. Like Becky said, over 1 million licenses. One of the things I also do with the firm, I know my time is limited, but I also handle a lot of the litigation for the firm. A lot of the lien foreclosures. I think in my 3 years, I've collected almost $750,000 in lien foreclosures. I've also handled petitions for writ of certiorari, which are appeals of your zoning and code enforcement cases. And one of the cases I'm most proud of is a appeal for the city of Naples. It was a challenge to their fertilizer ordinance, and I won that case. So I am undefeated, knock on wood, in litigation, and I hope to continue to be that way. I live in St. Augustine, so I'm not real close, but I'm close enough where I can be here at very short notice. And just to reiterate what Becky said, we do have access. One of the benefits of the flat rate is that we do work with your staff hand in hand. So we deal with your planning and zoning staff. We work with them all day, every day. We deal with your zoning code folks all day, every day. We deal with your building department, with your public works department. So they have direct access to us. If we were billable hours, I guarantee you, the planning and zoning director probably wouldn't be calling us. It probably would be just the elected officials or the mayor. But we get to work directly with your staff. So that is a benefit and one of the strong selling points of the firm. And I think my time is up, so.
Is his time up?
I have it going on this.
Okay, I'm just looking at 2 minutes there.
Okay. I guess next time, just let me know, so I know.
Okay, 3 seconds.
I know, but I'm saying, in the future, let us know.
In closing, it's a pleasure. It's an absolute honor to be here. Thank you for selecting us for interview.
Thank you.
Mayor, council members, good evening. My name's Wade Vos. I'm the managing partner of the Vos Law Firm. It's very nice to be here with you all tonight. We're very excited to be able to speak with you. As Becky mentioned, if you saw in the proposal initially, we were proposing Becky and myself as the two attorneys here with you. When we saw the discussion at your last meeting concerning one inconsistency, which makes all the sense in the world, we thought through it and decided it make a lot more sense for us to propose to you either Becky or Paul, who are both incredibly experienced and outstanding attorneys. You will be in outstanding hands with either of them. I'm the city attorney for the city of South Daytona, just up the road. And I love them up there in South Daytona, and I couldn't go leaving them for anybody else. So we want to be able to maintain consistency for you all. And up there, they were saying you better not go wandering, Wade. So I am still going to be completely available and integrated in with everything that the city would be doing for Orange City. Just tell you a little bit about my background very briefly. I'm trying not to hit the 2 minutes. I'm city attorney for the city of South Daytona. I'm village attorney for the village of Indiantown, Florida's newest municipality, which is a wild experience. I am city attorney for the city of Rockledge over in Brevard, and I'm city attorney for the city of Oviedo. In addition to all of that, I have an extensive amount of experience. I previously served as county attorney for Okeechobee County for 5 years, which is an outstanding experience for a city attorney to be a county attorney for a number of years. I know how to speak county with those folks, which works out very well. In addition, in that lane, I've served as general counsel for 8 different county charter review commissions in 5 different charter counties. Never in Volusia, because they do it in-house in the county attorney's office, but in Orange 3 times, Brevard twice, Pinellas twice, Alachua once, and Clay County once. Thank you all very much.
Hello, my name is Nancy Stuparich, and I try to be an endurance athlete because, as you know, to sit on a city council, you've got to have that strength and endurance. Along with that is the passion. And I want to share with you that my passion for local government started when, shortly after graduate school, when I had the opportunity to work for the Florida League of Cities. So I had the opportunity to see what cities around the state were doing, as well as work with the Florida legislature. I joined the Vos Law Firm almost 10 years ago, and I have stayed there. Why do I stay there? Because I've experienced other business models, and this one is truly a family unit. We talk on the phone all the time. Yes, we represent cities around the state, but I can guarantee you we're on the phone talking about different problems, different things that the cities experience. I have the privilege, the opportunity to actually work with Fort Myers Beach. And as you may be aware, that was the community that was hit by Hurricane Ian back in 2022. And it has been a recovery effort ever since. Unfortunately, we still have a lot of work to do. But we have encountered a lot of issues with FEMA. I actually went to Washington, met with Congressman Donalds, who assisted the city or the town with getting back into the flood insurance program. FEMA had taken us out of that. So we're doing a lot of new redevelopment projects. There is some discussion about a CRA, which is also near and dear to the heart of local governments. Again, it's a passion. I can't go into a city without looking at things. I visited your park this morning on my way, or this afternoon on my way in, because I wanted to see what it was like. You have tremendous resources here. One more comment about the firm itself. I mentioned we are a family, but we talk all the time.
Thank you.
Mayor, Council, good evening. I'll keep this very brief. I know you all have been up on that dais for a while. I've been at the firm for a little over 4 years. I've exclusively practiced local government in my legal career. I currently serve as general counsel to 2 special districts, Sunny Lake of Sebring Improvement District and the Barefoot Bay Recreation District. In my capacity with our municipal clients, I represent a number of planning boards, Board of Adjustments, CRAs. When Wade and I were speaking county together down at Okeechobee County, I was the attorney for the Planning Board, Planning and Zoning Board, Board of Adjustment, the Construction Industry Licensing Board, and I would regularly cover county commission meetings. I love what I do. Our firm is a family. The flat rate arrangement is fantastic because you won't believe how accessible your attorneys can be when you don't have to worry about the bill. Very much appreciate your time. I look forward to working with you all. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. It's such a pleasure to meet you. My name is Taylor Simons. I'm an associate with the Vos Law Firm, and I came to the firm after a number of years with the national large law firm Akerman, specializing in contract law and litigation. I serve as assistant attorney for a number of cities, including Oviedo and Fort Myers Beach. And in the event that the Vos Law Firm was chosen for representation, I would be assisting in any needs that the city might have. Once again, it was a pleasure to meet you all.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we're going to bring it back to council for questions. Dawn, you going?
I'll go.
Okay, I'm the only one looking at me, so. Oh, okay, Danny, you'll be next.
Who will be attending the various other meetings for which the city attorney's presence often required, such as planning commission or code enforcement and special magistrate meetings?
Okay, it would be Stephanie Vello, who is the town attorney of Oakland. She is also the special magistrate for Ponce Inlet. And your meetings are on the, for both of those boards, they're the first Wednesday of every month. The special magistrate is at 2 o'clock, and the planning board starts at 6. And so she would just come, and she would spend the day here, basically, in the early evening. But she is extremely qualified to serve both of those functions.
Dawn?
So you mentioned Mrs. Vos.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Ms. Vos. Sorry. That you and Mr. Vos would be, was that really, first of all, I have to ask a question. How hard was it for you to start calling your mother Becky?
I was thinking that too.
It started a long time ago. I do call her mom in meetings.
Happens. I worked with my son too. I was just curious. But anyway, you did answer the question where you did your homework and you saw that we had concerns about
Yes.
having a city attorney that would be with us constantly through, consistently.
And I think that's really an important thing.
We were spoiled.
You know?
So we were spoiled with Mr. Reichman
Absolutely.
there. So,
Absolutely.
absolutely. So you answered that question, and that was a big concern for me, I know.
Okay.
And I appreciate that. So what you're saying is that we would choose between yourself, or we would choose between yourself or Mr.
Or Paul.
Waters?
Or Paul.
Okay,
Yeah.
got you. Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for
Your
that.
choice.
Wasn't
Doesn't
really a
matter.
question. I just wanted
Nobody's
to
going to
kinda-
have their feelings hurt if they don't get chosen. Trust me.
All right, well, thank you.
Okay, sure.
Madam Mayor,
Go ahead.
Okay, the city has existing contracts for insurance and labor disputes, including cyber insurance. Describe how the firm will engage with these existing contracts.
Sure. We, for all of our cities, and for me, going way back, I work very well with attorneys. And, you know, we work with outside counsel all the time. We do whatever it is they need help with. And typically, they will come in and they're not that familiar with the, you know, exactly what's going on in a city. We provide whatever services we can provide. We're as supportive as we can. And we love working with outside counsel. So usually works out very, very well.
So our labor attorney would stay the same, or do you have a labor attorney?
We actually do have a labor attorney, but it would be up to you. I know that we provide labor attorney work for some of our cities, for Bunnell and for Brooksville, and Fort Myers Beach. We do that a lot, but we are very happy to work with your labor attorney. So we're not trying to kick anybody out. But actually, Nancy is help me. You've got a, she has a designation in labor law, and she's certified in labor law. So, yeah, I mean, you could use us, you could use, you know, whomever you're comfortable with.
What does that mean, designation?
She is, okay, she has a,
That's attorney talk.
it is, it is.
Sorry, I had to.
Okay. She is a certified labor relations professional, and she's certified by the Florida Public Employees Labor Association.
Thank you.
So it's specific to public employment.
Okay.
Members, council, I think it's important to make this subtle distinction. In this world of labor relations, our firm has done some work. We're what I call employment law versus the labor relations. Our firm, as your city manager's indicated, has not been representing the city in its labor relations, dealing with the police and the fire and so on. A lot of times, though, we'll get phone calls from either Ms. Arrington or department heads dealing with employment issues.
Right.
And so that would be something that, I just want to make that distinction for everyone. And that's not unusual to have that demarcation, that division of labor, if you will, no pun intended,
Right.
between the labor attorneys that are usually separate from your city attorneys. So that's pretty common.
That is absolutely correct. I guess at least two that I'm very familiar with, two of our cities, Bunnell and Brooksville, we do the negotiations. But that does not mean we need to do it everywhere, because others of our cities want to have someone, all they do is negotiate. And
So am I
your call.
understanding you correctly? Our special assessment attorneys that we have now can work closely with you.
Absolutely.
You're not looking to replace them.
We're not in to replace them at all. No, no. We'll just help them in whatever way we can.
I'm good.
Anything? Okay. So who will be attending the Planning Commission, Code Enforcement, Special Magistrate meetings in your firm?
That would be Stephanie Vello, which I'm very sad she couldn't be here. You will absolutely love her.
Okay.
She's at a town commission meeting in Oakland tonight, and as I said, she's the special magistrate over in Ponce Inlet.
Okay.
Mayor, her CV is included within the packet as well.
Okay, thank you. Dana?
What's your communication style within the firm to make sure everyone's abreast of what's going on with an agenda or with high-ticket items that are coming up?
Oh my gosh, we talk constantly. I mean, our firm has a firm conference line that we all call into, and we sound like a bunch of, I was about to say something sexist, negative about women, but I guess I can say that. But we just talk about what's going on. And the amazing thing is, I mean, we'll just loop everybody in and say, hey, such and such a city, hey, we've got this problem. And almost always somebody will say, yeah, we dealt with that 3 weeks ago. Well, send me the memo that you did, you know, and it is, to say we talk all the time is an I mean, I feel like I have my cell phone glued to my ear because we talk all the time.
What's your experience with, like, the land use codes, things like that, real estate, planning?
I've been doing it for 50 years. I mean, that is just what you do as a local government lawyer, absolutely.
Okay, can you?
I do have one more. So, with regard to litigation,
Yes.
what is your firm's style? Because that can always be, the tone can be set and it can go one way or the other based on how you present. I
Sure.
see your demeanor, and I'm just curious as how your firm handles litigation when you're trying to come to a common ground, obviously.
Okay. All right. Well, we obviously do not want to litigate something to death.
Sure.
Okay? It would not, we'd go bankrupt if we did. But we also, let me tell you, can I tell you a little story that'll tell you what our, okay.
Please.
When our firm took over as city attorney for Deltona back in, I think, 2011, they were inundated with litigation. Well, but they weren't by the time we left, they were not. Oh, okay, so Wade and I sat down, we got all these, you know, we looked at all the cases. The biggest case was what was called the Manji case. And it was an inverse condemnation case. They were asking for several $1 million. And it was when we had the 3 hurricanes that came through. The city of Deltona legally opened up their weirs and flooded a piece of property that was not in the city. Completely ruined the property, okay? So they were sued, and, well, this is the biggest one they've got, and it had been going on for 7 years. It drove me nuts when I saw that, you know, and there were probably 15 boxes of documents, and Wade and I went through those, and it just hadn't gone anywhere. There were all these depositions, all these court hearings, and it never went anywhere. And I did, and it didn't take that long, some legal research to realize they didn't have a cause of action because cities are allowed to do what Deltona did, okay? So what I did was I took a request back to our city commission and said, hey, make an offer of judgment for $50,000. And if they take it, you pay them $50,000 and it's done. Okay, if they don't take it, then I'm going to set this sucker for trial. And we're going to go to trial on it. So that's exactly what we did. And they never responded back to the offer of judgment. So I set it for trial. And within, I don't know, in Volusia County, it's pretty quick to get on the trial docket. Within 3 months, and I tried the case, we completely won the case. I mean, it was at trial. Okay. So after that, we took a motion for attorney's fees to the judge because with an offer of judgment, if we come out better than we offered, then they have to pay our attorney's fees. Okay. So at the hearing, the judge said, well, I'm going to set this for mediation. Y'all can mediate the amount of the fees. So we had a mediation. They ended up paying the city $100,000. And that's a true story. And the important thing about it was after that happened, I picked up the phone and called every attorney on the other side of every other one of the cases that they had. We settled every one of them. So honestly, our firm can't afford to be a punching bag for people who want to sue cities. As far as I'm concerned, you can sue cities all you want, but you're not going to sue one of our cities. You know, we we stab them in the heart. I mean, we go for the jugular. And we,
I was
you know,
not
we
expecting
settle.
that,
Huh?
but I'm just kidding.
No, we resolve cases.
Tagline, you're not gonna sue one of ours. I see a
Well,
commercial
and it's
there.
true, but it's true. And our cities don't get sued very often.
Right.
I mean, it's
good.
rare, because I'll be the first one to tell somebody, if they start picking on one of my cities, I'll tell them. Yeah.
Don't mess with
So,
Becky.
yeah, absolutely don't mess with me.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the mama bear approach. Trust me. Definitely.
You know what they do at holiday dinners now, right? They're going through records. Right?
No, thank
Okay,
you for
any
the
other
encouragement.
questions? Lisa Marie?
Sure.
First off, I want to say that it was great to hear that you guys watched our last meeting
Yes,
to get
yes.
some kind of insight on what we were thinking. But my question would be, as a firm, what do you feel your strengths are?
Oh my gosh. Our strengths are we only represent local governments. I mean, that is a huge strength. Because we're just focused. We could care less what's happening out in the legal field for, probate or whatever, other stuff. And we keep up with things. And like I say, we talk all the time. And it is an extremely rare situation where one of us will bring back something to our group and not have somebody say, oh yeah, I know the answer to that. Let me send you the memo on it. So that's the strength. It's having, 8 lawyers and 9 with Ralph. And I will tell you, Ralph is a great lawyer. He only works for us in St. Pete Beach, but he participates in our stuff. And we get information from him all the time. So all of us are also passionate about this. I can tell you, you would never hire a firm that is more passionate than we are about doing what we do. We love it. That's what keeps me young, and yeah, all of us feel that way.
Oh, jeez. Go ahead.
Madam,
Stafford. Wait, hold on. Hold on, Fran. Go ahead.
yes, Madam Mayor, I want to ask you on your fixed fee that you're charging the city. Will you be able to do shadow billing with that fixed fee? Then the reason I'm asking that is because if we have a land developer that has to pay a certain portion of that fee, and
Okay.
how often would you be willing to do that to the city? The
Okay.
shadow billing, would it be a monthly thing that you?
Okay, I think what you're saying is you have a pass-through ordinance, I think, which allows, I should have looked, but which allows you to charge your developers for the engineering fees, the traffic engineer, the attorney who has to negotiate things with them and work out development agreements, that sort of thing. We do that in several of our cities, and that has to be done separately. And it is in addition to our flat fee, but we keep track of our time, and we submit that to you monthly. But that's not paid by the city. It's paid by the city, and then it's reimbursed by the developer. But that is a typical thing that is done with cities, and it's really good because it's not appropriate for your residents to foot the bill for the what the developers
So
are
that wouldn't
incurring.
be included in that fixed fee?
No, it couldn't be. It couldn't realistically be because we have to keep track of that, and that's not paid by the city.
Hold on a minute. Fran?
Just real simple. You said either you or Paul Waters.
Talk into the microphone.
Sorry. You said that it would either be you or Paul Waters that would be on the, for the meetings.
Yes.
Now, you're not talking about alternating unless it's absolutely necessary in
Oh,
case
yeah.
somebody goes on vacation or somebody, so it's gonna be one or the other. What are you
One
gonna-
or the other.
You gonna toss a coin, is that what?
No, it would be up to you. You
Oh,
decide.
Okay.
You decide.
All right. I just wanted to make sure
We're the
that-
ones whose schedules work.
Yeah, no,
for
'cause
that.
You don't really want, one person, one meeting.
And I
then
totally understand that.
that.
No, I totally understand it, but I will tell you that if you pick Paul, which is absolutely fine, I will be as much involved in Orange City as Paul will be. And if you pick me, Paul will be as much involved. So, yeah, but you do, I totally get it. You need to see the same person over there.
Yes.
Thank you. Dale?
Yes, I just wanted to piggyback on Councilmember Stafford's question
Okay.
about shadow billing.
Okay.
You were very astute in noticing that in different areas of our budget, we have funds set aside for attorneys.
Yes.
So when we do the end of the year reconciliation or even the mid-year budget, we need to be able to charge back the attorney firm's time and rate to those various enterprise funds. So she asked if you could do shadow billing, and I'm re-asking the question because you explained one reason, but I need it for a different reason.
Okay, so, and I'm trying to remember your budget. Obviously, I've studied it. But we could give you a good estimation. One thing that we do, because we all work together, I mean, our billing would be incredibly high if we'll spend a half hour on the phone with maybe 5 of us, and we'll be talking about something that's going on in Orange City. If each one of us wrote down the time for that, that just wouldn't work. But we could certainly give you, and actually, I do that for Anna Maria. I mean, I give them the estimations of, because we know how much time we're spending. Now, I will tell you that I would not want to in any way discourage people from contacting us.
Nor
You know, I
nor
just
would I,
absolutely-
and I most certainly do not under our current arrangements, which
Okay.
is an hourly billing.
Okay.
Do not do that, because I agree with you completely. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. That's the old
Yep.
adage. But, for purposes of figuring out our enterprise funds,
Sure.
it's important, and our rates, it's important to just
And
get
we can
an
get that
estimate. I
information.
just wanted to see if it was
Absolutely.
possible. Thank you.
Absolutely. There's no problem with that.
20 minutes has expired. Would you like me to add more time, or how would you like me to
Is there any more questions from the council? No? Dale?
It's not a question of the law firm, but at the conclusion of each of your other presentations, you took a couple of minutes to discuss
Yes.
freely amongst
Right.
yourself without the law firm present.
Yes.
Would you like to do that here? So,
Council? Yes.
it's up to you.
Consensus is yes.
So, could you guys just go hang outside or something for a while? We'll call you back
Yeah.
in.
Go walk in the park across the street. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Safe in Orange City.
We're a safe city.
Council members, thank you all very much.
Okay. I guess I'll start with, I'll go with what Lisa Marie said. I like that they researched us. I like that they watched our meeting. I like that they saw what our needs are and they didn't say a hard no. I'm just going to say that. They were willing to bend on certain issues. I like that they have a well-rounded firm with different specialties that can help us. And I'll take it from there. Who wants to go next? Harry?
Sure. And I like the idea of a choice, whichever one we want to go with to be our
Yeah.
lead person, so we don't have to,
Yeah.
you know, should we choose one or the other? And I think dollars and cents wise, if my math is right, I think they'll wind up being one of the cheaper firms out of the three, cost-wise.
Hmm.
Dale, I mean, you pay the bills, right?
You got the checkbook.
So I think two of them are almost comparable. So yes, I think the one that will be the most expensive, and I think it may be more expensive to start when they're going to need to spend more time
Which two are you
learning
thinking?
us. It would be the first one and the last
Yeah.
one, with the middle one probably being more expensive.
I think we're all on the same page.
Yes. And,
Okay.
you know, or it would, you know, so right now, we use their law firm whenever we need it. We do some of our own in-house legal, you know, in terms of copying ordinances over and copying resolutions over. I presume we'll continue to do that. So a lot of negotiating the contract on what we're going to do. It's going to be a matter of sitting down and discussing it with whatever firm you want to learn each other and what needs to be put in for the specific things.
What was your feeling on the fact that the litigation was included? Because I know we had discussed that earlier about, you know, that could be good or that could be bad, right?
So, well, what my primary concern was with the middle firm, with the first firm, having a litigator as our city attorney and not including litigation. I don't think any law firm that represents municipal clients really wants to spend a lot of time in litigation. So I don't think it matters too much. Most of our litigation, just for you who you know aren't involved in that, is really minuscule, and it is involved with workmen's compensation cases, or with insurance cases, and we do take our time with those only when we feel like people start with the stars and the moon, and then we work our way down, so we don't necessarily settle quickly. But we don't have any that have been dragging on for years and years, so.
Okay. Mr. Reichman?
Looking backwards, certainly can't predict the future, but looking backwards, for the vast majority that I've been working with Dale and with other city managers for the firm, our law firm has not done much litigation. Most of the litigation that the city of Orange City is involved in is insurance defense.
Right.
So they're not paying, city of Orange City is not paying extra. That's included within the rates for the insurance policies. Looking backwards, the last significant litigation that our law firm actually was representing the city was involving the jail landfill. And that was a big one. That went on for a long time, but it turned out to be successful in the end, and it was very important for the citizens and for the city council to go ahead and use the taxpayers' dollars for that litigation. But generally speaking, since Dale and I have been working together, our law firm has not been, fortunately, has not been, had to be charging the taxpayers for litigation. And a lot of that goes to the staff and to the city manager that working with our office, that we're involved, we work well together, and we, make decisions and are strategic so that there doesn't end up in litigation.
So,
I was going to say, so that being said, out of the three firms, how do you feel your people would be on a day-to-day basis working with them?
Fine. I think all three firms are excellent. I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference, really, who you select for us. You know, my primary goal will be to bring them into the fold as much as I can and get them introduced to everybody. And of course, you know, the rapport needs to be developed, and that's something that only time will take. I can tell you that, you know, to me, and it's not like I've called Bill in the middle of the night too many times or on, and it's certainly been worth it, you know. There have been a couple of instances where, you know, we've had serious problems and I've had the decency to wait till 6 in the morning, but, you know.
We have each other on speed dial. Let's just put it that way.
But, you know, to me, that's very important, and I certainly picked that up from both the first firm and the last firm. So, you know, when you need an attorney, you need an attorney, so.
Well, and that's how I feel. You know, there's been times where I wasn't sure if I was doing something right, and his advice to us was always, if it doesn't feel right, give me a call, right, and make sure you're doing it right. And so, and he's always answered the phone and given good advice, and that's what I'm looking in for this too. Not just that. Yeah, I know we need other things, but we have to feel comfortable also, right? So, so where do we go from here as far as we're going to bring them back in?
And we're gonna pick them in front of them?
Oh,
Yeah, we're going to vote in front of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is sunshine, public meeting.
Yes.
Well, I think the first thing you need to ask are, do any of you have a follow-up question for any of them?
I don't think so. Do you?
And then I think you need to say, you need to figure out who your first ranked firm is, your second ranked, and your third ranked. And here would be my intent, that you would give Bill and I free rein to negotiate the contract. And a lot of that is going to be sitting down to the attorney and seeing what they're comfortable with. Because, you know, so like on police negotiations, I did that because it's in
I was
my
gonna say
way. I'm sorry. On police negotiations,
There it is.
what is that?
Phone.
Oh.
We tried.
On police negotiations, you are going to want, I would want to figure out who, if we brought them in, because next year we're doing brand-new labor
Wait, hold on a
attorney.
minute. Fran, can you do that later so we can, because I can't hear what she's saying if you're talking. Go ahead. And this is important. Go ahead.
Brand-new labor attorney negotiations, not this year. I want to finish out with our current one. And he's very good. And I would want to talk to them and figure out, do you want to negotiate a whole new contract and wind up with the whole police department irritated? Not our administration, but perhaps the rank and file. You know, we need to have these discussions to see what to present to you.
So question for you. So if we ranked tonight, we gave you our ranking, and then you take it back for negotiations, and let's just say, you know, our first pick is so-and-so, and that one just doesn't want to negotiate to the way that you see best for the city, then you would go to the second one,
No,
right?
ma'am.
Okay.
My intent would be to bring you back a contract with the first one, and then and explain to you the pros and cons of it.
Okay.
Now, I can tell you, if we sat, and I'm going to make up a make-believe story here, that we sat down at the table and they said, whoops, made a mistake here, can't provide the same attorney each time. Oops, made another mistake in my presentation. It's not 24,000, it's 48,000.
Yeah.
Before I finish that, I'll probably come back to you and say, you know, we're not seeing eye to eye on this. Let's go
Okay.
ahead and move to number 2. But it would, I think, be something drastic like that for
I
me.
don't see that happening.
I don't either. I'm just trying to give you an indication of where it would go foul before it comes to
Right,
you.
but that's the procedure we, is
Okay.
normal.
I wasn't sure how you did it. That's why I wanted to
So
ask.
how do you want to pick 1, 2, and 3?
Up to you guys. How do you want to pick 1, 2,
I
and
mean,
3?
I could say my opinion and somebody else could say
And
theirs.
I think that's the way most places would do it, is each person would say, here's my top choice. Hopefully, there would be a meeting of the minds.
Yes.
And then the others who are left out would need to say, you know, I originally wanted X, Y, Z, but, you know, after listening to where we are, I'm willing to change mine to be A, B, C. Or let's discuss it some more, because I have very strong opinions. So I think when you go around the room, Madam Chair, it would be good for each person to say who their first choice is and why.
Okay.
Or why they didn't want another firm, you know.
Okay.
You know, maybe you could even give a bullet point about each firm and the way you looked at it.
So at this point in time, it would be appropriate to invite them back in. And I want to make this clear. This is a sunshine meeting. It's like any other special or regular meeting. We asked them we didn't have the power to tell them to leave. It's just kind of SOP.
Yes,
I just want
right.
to make sure everyone understood that. They didn't have to leave, but it's just what everyone does. And also, Mayor, just FYI, before the city council makes a final decision tonight, as far as their listing, we would want to allow to the public, to the extent that they wish to provide citizen comments, they would have the right to do that. I don't know,
When will we do that?
before you take final action.
Okay.
On your decision this
So-
evening. I don't know if we have anyone, but
I would like to ask a question about, Vice Mayor was saying, how do we do this? I feel like we're being put on the spot when they come in here, that we have to tell them why we do or don't like them, and I'm not sure that everybody's up here is comfortable with that. So isn't there another way where we just write it down on a piece of paper and you tally it and that's it?
it was going to be public records.
You put it in public record or no?
Those would be collected and it would be
Yes,
public
right,
records.
which is fine, but I mean.
That's fine, but to the city manager's point, that's not, if you say 1, 2, and 3, 2, 3, 1,
Yeah.
you know, whatever, it's not going to be why. So you really need to reach consensus now about whether you want to have the conversations, and those conversations need to be had in the public and in front of these folks. And it is difficult, it is not easy, but that's normally what's happened. I would respectfully suggest that would be the best way to do it, because this is an important decision, and I think all of you need to understand each other's opinions
Okay.
and reasons why. As difficult as that is, I think it's important.
Okay,
'cause
I mean,
all
I'm
of-
not afraid to say it, I just didn't want to put everybody on the spot, that's all.
I think you have a better opportunity to be in accord with each other
Okay,
if you can work together to choose the firms you like and not worry about whether their feelings are hurt or not.
Don't worry about their
All
feelings.
want
Don't.
this job. If you don't choose someone as number 1 and then need to move to number 2, they still want this job.
okay.
So, you know, just mind your P's and Q's and, you know, yeah. So, are you ready, Madam Chair?
Like a minute, just to look over my
Sure,
notes.
sure.
Do you all want a minute to?
Yes. May I get some tea while?
Yes. Long Island? No, I'm just kidding.
I'm good. Had my cookies.
They all did good, but money.
Hmm.
Quick and easy. That's just. Well, I'm looking at my constituents. They would come out,
Wait, you can't talk to each other right now.
oh, okay.
That's why I said we gotta do it. You can, in a minute, we can all talk, but not to each other like that. Just trying to protect you.
I did not change.
I don't, you want me to? Okay, you guys ready? No? See them?
I can't see every.
Yeah, I think.
David's getting it. Go ahead, David.
They weren't ready. That's why.
Yeah, I was
Stop.
going to say, I think we
Wait a
have
minute.
4 council members that are still,
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Tabulating?
I'm not sure.
Yes, we have a few that are.
I was gonna say, if we wanted to, you could call like an official recess and have everybody come in, they can continue working on whatnot. Anybody can have a bathroom break, it's up to you, how we wanna go forward.
Have them come in, you guys can still calculate, and you just let me know when you're ready. Okay? Yeah, you can let them in, Dave.
So we're gonna go on a recess?
No.
8:33 until,
That's what she asked you.
Oh.
Do you want a recess or not?
or do you wanna leave it?
We'll take a 5-minute recess.
There.
Madam Chair, why don't you make, Madam Chair? When everyone's in here, let's go ahead and make the announcement about the recess, so it's on the record.
Okay, folks, we're on a 5-minute recess. Our council is taking a break real quick, and then we're going to come back and make our decisions. Thank you. If anybody needs a restroom break. Anybody needs a restroom break? Back there. I'm sorry.
Muted the room, off the recording, and we have our screen on.
The mayor. Go eat. That was wholesome. You're gonna be out of. My next position.
Oh, you're ready to resume? I was technically at 8:40, but you're all here, so let's go.
Tell me when you're ready. There we go. There you go.
I'm just bringing up the YouTube and it's not showing up just yet, so here's my.
Dana,
Sorry, I'm writing.
sorry.
You want my
I was going to
ranking?
start from that side and go this way. Look at that. Look at that look. Oh.
So you want my ranking 1 to 3?
Your ranking, and then city manager. Are you going to keep track, or is the city clerk, or? Okay. 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 Hey, it's been a while since we did this, right? Okay. Go ahead.
So I think it's been a very difficult decision. I mean, you all are fantastic, and you bring a lot to the table. It's made this very, very hard to figure out. So I thank you all for submitting your proposals and for being here tonight. My ranking, I think, is going to be Vose is 1, DSK is 2, and then Fishback Dominic is 3.
Okay. Councilwoman Stafford.
Thank each and every one for
Can you talk into the microphone? I'm sorry.
We appreciate your application. Initially, I was thinking about DSK as number 1. That was my initial thought. But after listening to everyone, and I'm sorry, Voss, you have my number 1 vote. DSK number 2, and Fishburne number 3.
Fishback. Okay. Councilwoman Richardson.
I'd like to say thank you guys for all also submitting your applications, and it was a very hard decision. But my number 1 pick would be Voss. My second would be DSK, and third will be Fishback.
Okay. Councilwoman Thompson.
I'll reiterate the thank you very much for attending and coming and explaining and giving us all your time and your expertise. Commend you all. I want to say that for Vose, they are my number 1 pick. The reason why it stood out to me was you did your homework. I appreciate that very much. I like the 3 steps ahead approach. The willingness to amend your terms to assign or have us choose one attorney for our comfortability. I like that too. And your flat fee, that does include the litigation. Of course, no one wants litigation. However, if it's there, we do appreciate that. So that would be my number 1. My number 2 would be DSK. I do appreciate your community engagement. You do have daily communication, which I understand is super important, and I appreciate that, because that not very often do you find any company that will go through and have a daily quorum and where they're getting their ducks in a row, and I appreciate that a lot. I really, really do. And that you have 1 county per city, that kind of keeps down on all of that, kind of conflict. the sticking point was the litigation. It was additional. I just don't know if we're going to end that, and we live in a very litigious society, which you all know, you're attorneys. So for that reason, that would put you number 2 for me. And then for Fishback, Dominic, you have the 3 board certified in city council attorneys. I like that because that gives you a lot of knowledge. You definitely go through and know your stuff as far as all your attorneys are concerned. The fee schedule, there was a sticking point with that, which we discussed that, and I understand that your proposed fee schedule is what it is. It just wasn't something that was, to me, it put you as number 3. And then just some schedule conflicts when, you know, you have a lot of evening things that are going on. So for those reasons, if we had a new city council attorney, new attorney to the city, you don't, I believe what you said was you don't have the city council experience, but you could get that, right? So that was why you would be number 3. So that's my picks, 1, 2, and 3. So Bose, DSK, and Fishback, Dominic.
Thank you. Councilwoman Darms?
Having worked for attorneys for close to 20 years in New York City, however, they were trademark attorneys, but still, I wouldn't have stayed with the firm unless I saw the interaction, and I did a lot of interactions. I used to do the word processing, and I'd go to the attorney, did you mean to say this? He goes, that was a good catch. So that's how involved I got into it. So I can recognize the camaraderie, the mix. So having sensed and felt that, I have gone with Vose as my first pick. GSK is my second, and Fishback is my third. But thank you all for being here. I know this isn't easy, and I am very grateful.
Thank you. Vice Mayor?
I'd just like to say thank you for your presentations. Here we are, a small city, Orange City, and I went with Voss as number 1, DSK is number 2, and Fishback is number 3. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
How do you say it, Vos or Voss? How do you say it?
Voss.
It's both.
Vos.
Vos.
Okay, I was just curious.
We answer to anything.
Here you go.
Okay. With that being said, I want to thank you all for coming out tonight. I think we learned a lot from each and every one of you. I feel like, you know, we're looking for a good fit for us, whether it be, and I said this to the council earlier, you know, we're looking at not just money, we're looking at personalities, we're looking at experience, we're looking at availability. And I have to say, you know, I was looking personally for someone to wow me tonight. And it was really hard because y'all did, right? But I have to say I'm going to go with, I think it was Lisa Marie said this, but Vos, sorry, I did it wrong. Whatever, right? You all back there, no, you super wowed me because they researched us. They watched our meetings. I felt like you aimed to please us with what we're looking for. And this is a very hard decision. It's very important to all of us, you know, because whoever we do choose is gonna support us, right? And keep us out of litigation, hopefully, right? So with that being said, I have the same temperature as the room. Vos number 1, DSK, and Fishback is my, so it looks like it was unanimous that way. Yeah. And I just want to thank you all for coming out, you know, this time of night and doing this, because I know it's a lot when you're working all day, but you all have things that wow me. I don't want you to think you didn't. It's just they kind of rose to the top for me, and thank you for your service. You know, there's just, you all have so many good things. So thank you for even applying, right? And we're going to turn this back to the city manager, and she will, I guess, meet with you all, and right? Is that where we go with this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I would be setting up a time, and I'll just need to know who to call so that we'll do Mrs. Vos, and we'll set up a time where you and me and Bill can sit down, maybe some other staff members, because I think part of the negotiations will be to develop a good back and forth of what needs to be in the contract or not, and that's going to be subject to discussion, just so that we know how we're moving forward on things like estimated hours and some of the things we discussed.
Madam Mayor, just to make sure we follow all the Ps and Qs.
Go to the public.
I'm going to ask for a motion to approve the selection and the ranking, but before that action, final action is taken, formal action taken, allow it, if there is anyone from the public,
Right.
to be able to provide citizen input.
Thank you. So we need a motion on the table.
I'd like to make a motion to
To con- To confirm the rankings as
rankings.
as discussed previously with the Vose Law Firm number 1, DSK number 2, and the Fishback number 3. So moved.
Yes.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Anything from anybody from the public want to speak on this matter? Seeing none, we'll bring it back to a vote. Kaylee?
Councilmember Stafford,
Yes.
Councilmember Richardson,
Yes.
Councilmember Darms,
Yes.
Councilmember Knight, Councilmember Tiongson,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Grimm,
Yes.
Mayor Marks.
Yes, and the motion passes. Thank you all, and thank you, council, for taking the time to really dig into this. I appreciate it, and thank you all for coming out tonight.
Thank you very much. It was very nice to meet you all.
Thank you.
Need a motion to
No,
adjourn?
no.
Oh,
I'd
wait,
like to
wait,
make a
wait, hold
motion
on.
to adjourn.
Hold on. Dale?
I think maybe after everyone leaves, we need to discuss 1 or 2 items
Okay.
of business.
Thank you.
Is your meeting still going on, or?
Yeah, we're going to have a little discussion after.
Yeah.
Gotta get up to speed sometime.
Well, actually, I was hoping you would be able to tell me which one of them you preferred working with. So,
We're glad
Okay.
to step out if you'd like.
that was the intent here, folks. You can come back in afterwards, and I'm happy to talk to you.
back
in. I forgot about that. Thank you. Okay, Harry, you can go first.
I think we should go with the gentleman as the lead and Mrs. Boss the second.
I think for the dynamic of their law firm, I believe that would be the best pick, because Paul Waters, and then go with
Yeah.
Ms. Vose as the second.
Thank you, I didn't remember his name, Paul Waters.
Same.
I was going to say the opposite. I guess I'm always the cat, right? Okay, I'm open. That's fine.
Okay. I think you'll get her anyway.
I think so too.
Absolutely.
No, I mean, behind the scenes.
I think
and
she's gonna
it's
be-
fill-in.
And that's what she said.
She looks very
Yes,
hands-on.
that's what she said.
Absolutely.
Count, sorry, I was
It's anonymous. Yeah, unanimous, yeah. I said it.
So-
I can't even.
Folks, the reason that your city manager and I are belaboring this is because we want to bring as much as possible back a proposed final agreement that included your desires on this issue. And so that's why we asked for your, your advice on that, your decision on that.
I do have one question. So, just for giggles, if something goes crazy with Voss that you can't agree on a contract,
And Vose.
Vos, excuse me, do you automatically then go to DSK and try to get a contract with them?
No, we would bring back whatever we can agree on, and there may be some things we can agree on. We would bring that back to you.
So we can see if there's negotiables in there. Okay, very good.
Not going to take any action until we see what the negotiations are.
Unless something really weird happens,
Mhm.
you would be the one saying move on to the next.
Right, okay.
It's not our job.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else?
That's all we had. We just needed that direction. Thank you. Thank you, council.
Then you can adjourn, call them back in or
I'd call 'em-
whatever order you want.
I'd call him back in and then
Yeah,
adjourn.
let's call them back in and let them know who the winner is. This is kind of fun.
I know, right?
Okay, we just called you back in to let you know who we have chosen. And we have chosen Paul. Now, I do have to say, Mama Bear, as somebody said up here, we know that you'll have your hands in it too, so we feel comfortable with that. But we like your team, so thank you. Okay.
Thank you
Okay,
very
we
much.
just need a motion to adjourn then.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
None opposed? Motion, or meeting adjourned.